that serves our interests, so we have something to help them out with. This bill also cuts funding to abusive and weaponized IRS programs. I was a victim of that too. You probably read that. Did you read that recently, right?
Sure.
I was, I guess, the ultimate victim that were used to harass American taxpayers. It builds on the Republican rescissions package passed last summer, which saved Americans billions and billions of dollars. It fully funds our military, includes a well-deserved pay raise for all American service members, and makes historic investments in the American shipbuilding industry, which is great. We're really starting to do something incredible with shipbuilding. And I don't know if you saw that the United States of America, for the first time in over 30 years, beat Japan. We love Japan, great country, but their power in steel making, that we produce more steel this year than Japan. Think of that, more steel than Japan, and Japan is a powerhouse at that. And we were pretty much dead when it came to steel. So what do you think of that? And then, to me, when I heard that, we did more than Japan.
I mean, yeah, that's quite the achievement. Seeing that China and Japan has been the top producers of steel for, well, I don't know, like decades now. So the fact that we've actually caught up to them in such a short amount of time, that's quite the achievement. So shout out Trump. That tariff on steels, that 55% tariff on steels, it worked.
It continues to fund deportation flights that are removing dangerous illegal aliens from our country. It continues historically successful efforts to reduce crime in our nation's capital. We have a very safe city right now. We have a city that is like a different world from what it was a year and a half ago, when you couldn't walk down a street without being hurt very badly. I want to say that in a nice way. Washington, D.C. is a safe city. Memphis, by the way, is down. Crime is down 77%. And in New Orleans, I don't know if you heard these numbers, but in New Orleans, we started 4 weeks ago, max. And crime is down 68%. It's going to be down to practically nothing within the next month. Pretty amazing. But it all helped cut the number of murders in D.C. by 80%. And we have numbers coming up, newer numbers. We're down 97% in murders. It's a horrible thing to even be talking about, murders in D.C. But a lot of people were being killed in Washington, D.C., if you can believe it. And now we have a very safe, I don't know if there's any such thing as crime-free, but pretty close in January compared to 12 months ago. So we have close to 95% down crime in Washington, D.C. It allows all of you people to walk to the White House instead of getting into an Uber and getting mugged even as the Uber progresses, okay? And it continues funding for the Department of Homeland Security until later in the year. And finally, I am extremely pleased to announce that this bill includes a newly designated, movie star, Melania Trump Foster Youth to Independence Initiative. So she really loves the children, and she's had a tremendous success. So it's the #1 documentary in 19 years. Can you believe this?
Really?
What do I get out of it? Nothing out of it. Now I had a top model, now I have a top movie star. But we have a great first lady. She loves children, and she had a tremendous vote on this. And I want to just say, Melania Trump Foster Youth to Independence Initiative within the Department of Housing and Urban Development, which will support America's foster youth and provide them critical resources as they age out of the foster care system. And the First Lady loves children, and she's been very much involved with children and helping them out and making.
Yeah, I'll tell you this, Melania Trump got way more recognition in Trump's second term than her first term. It kind of seems like she played the quiet wife. And now in this term, she's out here writing letters to Putin to release kids, out here making documentaries and all this good stuff, programs for the children and all that. So she's getting pretty active now as First Lady. Quite the change of pace from the first term.
Them better. That's what she wants to do. Wants to help them, and she wants to make them better. And she does a great job of it. She's respected, and her movie got really incredible reviews. She's she's done it. We're all proud of her, actually. It's amazing. Not easy to do that. Not easy to do it. So I just want to thank everybody for being here. If you would have some questions, I might just ask before you do that. These are all outstanding politicians, the top. In my opinion, the top in the whole world, but that's one of those things I like to build it up.
Oh God, do me a favor and double tap that screen and like the video, guys. Appreciate support, by the way. But let's not forget to double tap that screen. And holy crap, Set, you shaved. It looks pretty good. Yeah, good. I mean, hey, I shave every now and then, and I shaved yesterday. If y'all didn't notice, now y'all notice. Great. Now I feel like the neglected wife now who changed her hair, but the husband never notices. Oh, pity me. Oh, I'm just playing. All right, guys, let's get ahead and get back into it. And shout out to O for being the first one. Appreciate you for starting us off, sis.
A little bit, but they're the top politicians, they're the top political minds. And if you have any statement, does anybody have a statement that you'd like to make? We'll start on the left side. Anybody? How about Mr. Speaker?
Well, this is a big thing, Mr. President. Thank you for your leadership and helping us steward this through. For a long time, we wanted to get back to regular order in the appropriations process. And you're standing up here with the best appropriators in the business and have served in many years. And we forced the muscle memory back. We're getting back to that regular order process. 12 separate appropriations bills. We've gotten them to your desk, and this is a big thing. It seems like a small thing, but it's a big thing. And we're spending less money year over year, and with all the innovations and things that you said there, this is good for the country. And America is back. The hat is appropriate. That's the right slogan.
It's a new hat. We just came out. America is back. Look, CNN's thrilled. Look at her. She's never smiles. I never see her smile.
I mean, we done we overtook Japan in steel production. We now have the biggest oil reserves in the world, considering that we seized Venezuelan oil, and now their oil is being sold to us, basically, and whatever money they make from it is now put in the trust that we monitor. So yeah, America is back. I mean, well, to be honest, I don't even think we never seen America like this. I don't know an America that was out here just snatching up leaders and taking their resources for their own just to up our own oil reserves to stabilize or to, I don't know, solidify our petrodollar. I mean, this might be a first.
Someday I'll see her smile.
Mr. President,
Yes.
could I mention
I like
that there's
it.
significant healthcare reform in this bill, PBM reform, something that you have been working on and we appreciate.
Oh, and shout out to my man Wesley, says pizza dog, bark, bark, shut the mouth. Well, all right. Shout out my man Wesley.
And applaud your efforts, bringing drug prices down for citizens here in America. Not only that, but we extended telehealth, and also we are addressing maternal mortality in this bill. Rural health care has been a big part of your focus, and we appreciate that.
Thank you very much. Thank you, buddy. You know, a very big thing, I think, for all of us is most favored nations on drug pricing. So for 30 years, they've been talking about it, more than that. And it's basically, we now will take prescription drugs will come down to the lowest price anywhere in the world. So if a country is selling a pill for $10 and we're selling it for $130, which is not much of an exaggeration at all.
Nope, it's not.
We were paying the highest drug prices anywhere in the world. Now we'll be paying tied with the lowest price. It's most favored nations. We will have the lowest price anywhere in the world. So a pill that was for $130 will be down to $20. So you can make a case that that's 800, 900%, or like the press likes to hear, it's about 80%.
Yeah.
But we're going to get reductions like.
Yes, it is about 80%, Trump. You can only go upwards 100% plus. You can add value by 100%, but you can't decrease value by 100% because you'd make it free. That was the funniest thing. I know that was irritating everybody. Like, Trump was saying that shit on purpose. He was just irritating people. Yes, it'll go down by 1,800%. People were tripping about that, but no, realistically, it's going down about 50 to 80% in drug pricing. And of course, our drug prices are going to fall, but drug prices around the world outside of the United States are going to go up a little bit, to find that median price.
Nobody's ever seen. And frankly, the Republican Party should be able to win the midterms on that alone. That's the biggest thing there is. Most favored nations, we're going to be bringing the price of drugs down. In my first term, I got it down 1/8 of 1%. And I was so proud because it's the first time in 28 years that drug prices came down. And now we're talking about bringing it down by 80, 90, 75, 68. I mean, I have numbers in the back that nobody can believe. Most favored nations. And remember, the Republicans did that. The Democrats did not do that. Republicans did it. And that's going to have a huge impact also on healthcare because medicine.
I mean, that is true. Republicans, well, or say Trump is actually the first guy, one of the first presidents to actually take it to the pharmaceutical companies and be like, you're not going to overcharge us. We're not just going to sit back and accept it. So you're either going to give us most favored nation pricing or you're going to accept 100% tariff. And that's how Trump got these guys to the table. Because it is pretty wild how Dems want to talk about free healthcare and making healthcare affordable, but you didn't tackle the pharmaceutical costs. You didn't tackle the unfair pricing of drugs on Americans. You didn't tackle that whatsoever, but you want to talk about healthcare. Okay.
I mean, it's a big chunk of healthcare. And if you're bringing something down from $100 down to $20, $18, because we were subsidizing.
Oh God, do me a favor and double tap that screen and like the video, guys. Let's get more people in the conversation by double tapping that screen. Appreciate the support.
In the entire world. And frankly, I had to get the countries to go along with it. And I had to threaten tariffs against them if they didn't approve. And the healthcare companies, who weren't easy either, but they said it doesn't matter because they'll never get the countries because they didn't really want to do it. And I got the countries. I got every one of them. And really, people can't even believe it. But for the people standing behind me, if you use that alone, you should win. We should win the elections coming up. Anybody else? How about on this side?
You mentioned the IRS,
please.
Mr. President. Their behavior has been atrocious. If you think about leaking your tax returns, the tax returns of others, and never any accountability. I must have questioned Janet Yellen 4 times, 5 times under oath about this and never an answer. We stripped $10 billion from the IRS in this bill that you just signed. And today I launched an investigation with my staff on all of these contractors that are associated with the ones that allowed your information to be put out. These contractors that hire activists to come in and do their work. These corporations here in America that bring activists in to do their work, that's going to come to an end.
They did leak my tax returns. It was terrible. The good news is I paid a hell of a lot of tax. I paid tens of millions of dollars. I said, where are my accountants? I want to talk to my accountant. But they did. They leaked my tax returns. They didn't do it in a nice way. They tried to get something out of it.
Yo, and shout out to my man Jeb, member for 6 months. Appreciate the support, brother. And he says, why you sickos and insults always involve genitalia or crap? Like low keto. Like why does it always like, oh, Trump's penis is small? I mean, that's a bit weird. I mean, like, what, you want to find out or something? I mean, bro, think about it. Y'all say y'all hate Trump, but y'all talk about this man's body parts. Y'all talk about this man's children, his wife, everything involving this man. Actually, here's the thing. You guys will bring up Trump before I do. And I'm a Trump supporter. And you guys will bring this man up way more times than me. It's actually funny. I mean, what can I say? There's a thin line between love and hate.
But no, they're bad people.
Accountability is coming, though. You think about the phone companies that leaked our
They secretly
telephone
love
records,
this man.
several of us here.
Right.
Verizon leaked my telephone records. You think about what's happened across the country. This is going to come to an end.
We should have voter ID, by the way. We should have a lot of the things that I think everybody wants to see. Who would not want voter ID? Only somebody that wants to cheat. Think of it. We don't have voter ID. And the Democrats don't want it. And the reason they don't want it because they want to cheat. Because there's no reason in the world. And I love that debate, Lindsay. I love saying, well, why don't you want voter ID? And you watch them say, I don't know. I just can't.
It's racist.
No, it's a terrible thing. So anyway.
No, it's like kind of insulting the argument. It's like, well, that they won't know how to fill out the papers and it's extremely racist. And well, what about the old people? And it's just like, all right, so you can't really provide no logical argument. You just have emotional ones. Okay. We see where you're going with this.
Anybody else?
Well, Mr. President, you
Please.
said you wanted to make America safer and more prosperous,
Right.
and we have done it. More prosperity means more money in people's pockets, and they notice that every time they go to fill up with gas, and they're going to know it when they get their tax returns that this year are going to be at least $1,000, if not more, greater than it's been in the past, and that's a result of the work that you've done with this whole group. And in terms of America being safer, A number of us were at the border 2 weeks ago. The border is secure. No one is coming across, not the 10,000 we saw every day with Joe Biden. And the American people still in overwhelming numbers, Republicans, Democrats, and independents all say illegal immigrant criminals need to be deported. And Mr. President, you're doing that.
And no tax on tips.
No tax
No
on
tax on
Social Security,
No tax at all.
more money
Think of
in
it.
people's pockets.
Think of it. And that was all the great big beautiful bill, as I call it, the great big beautiful bill. To me, that's what it is. And people are starting to realize it now. They're starting to see.
They're gonna
And
see it in their
a
pockets.
tax deduction on if you buy a car, if it's made in America, only if it's made in America. The rest we don't care about so much. But you buy a car, you get an interest deduction. You borrow money, you get an interest tax deduction. And that is, you take interest, you deduct it against your tax. So to me, that's unbelievable for the people, unbelievable for our car companies, which is jobs. Anybody else on there? Yeah,
Mr.
please.
President, the biggest part of this.
And he truly helped out the car companies by putting that 20% tariffs on any car made outside the US. He gets these manufacturers to bring in their manufacturing of their cars to the US, thus creating jobs, and they can go ahead and get that benefit of not being tariffed. And of course, the Americans can get that benefit of the financing on the car because it was made in America. I mean, it's a really good deal for both the manufacturer and the people of America.
Is our national security.
Right.
And thank you. The men and women who serve this country are grateful to you. We give them a pay raise. We're building more ships, as you said, planes, missiles. We need to defend this country, and you're doing a great job in leading us in the right direction.
Thank you very much. Katie, go ahead. You were going to say something?
Yeah, no, Mr. President, this is just unprecedented leadership. The fact that you got everyone to come together and actually get these bills across the finish line, you heard it from the speaker, but that hasn't happened in a long time. So 96% of the government being funded, your priorities put in place, Mr. President, so that we can make the country safer, we can make it more prosperous. And not only can we make America great again, but we can tell people now America is back.
Yeah, it's a great, we'll never forget MAGA, and we're all with MAGA, but I thought this was very appropriate, right?
Love it.
Right?
Love it. Says everything.
Cindy Hyde, come on, say something.
Well, there's a little hospital in here, a rural hospital in Meadville, Mississippi,
Right?
called Franklin County Hospital. It would have closed the end of this month without this bill. Thank you from everybody in Mississippi, especially Franklin County.
And we've covered the rural very well. Nobody ever thought it was possible because we had a lot of opposition from the Democrats, as you know, but nobody thought it was possible. That's great. How about
The problem is the Democrats didn't really care about rural hospitals. They just wanted to add more wasteful spending into Medicaid. Like they just wanted that, like, look, what did Trump cut out? $930 billion over the next 10 years, basically $93 billion every year. The Democrats wanted to put that back in. They didn't really care about rural health care. They just wanted to put that crazy spending back in there, and that was it. I mean, they actually wanted to take away the funding for rural health care just to put that funding back in. And let's be real, that original funding wasn't helping rural health care, but it was funding a whole bunch of fraudulent activity. I'll tell you that.
back there, Tom?
Best budget for Native Americans ever, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Appreciate that help.
So we'll sign it.
Sorry,
and if you
Medicaid.
would have some questions.
Sorry, guys, Medicaid, not Medicare. Because Medicare, that's still like $1.2 trillion, and that needs to get cut. But Medicaid right now is at like $825 billion, in funding.
Anybody up here?
Let me just piggyback. This rural America is taken care of in this bill. And I mean, as Cindy says, so thank you for all America, but especially rural America.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. So I probably won't hold this up. And I think holding up one little page doesn't do it justice. In there, it's a lot of stuff, but it's signed. Thank you.
Thank you. On Iran, are the negotiations still happening this week?
Yeah.
Where will they be? And what do you need to hear from
They're
Iran?
all over, but they are negotiating. They'd like to do something, and we'll see if something is going to be done. They had a chance to do something a while ago, and it didn't work out, and we did Midnight Hammer. I don't think they want that happening again, but they would like to negotiate. We are negotiating with them right now, yes.
Where will
Mr.
the
President,
meeting-
Mr. President.
Where will the meeting be? It seems like
I can't tell you that.
Mr. President.
There's more than one meeting. Yep.
Mr. President, how was your meeting with Gustavo Petro earlier today? And did you come to any agreement on counter-narcotic efforts?
Yeah, we did. We worked on it and we got along very well. He and I weren't exactly the best of friends, but I wasn't insulted because I never met him. I didn't know him at all. And we got along very well, and we're working on that. We're working on some other things too, including sanctions. And but we had a very good meeting.
So you came to an agreement?
I thought he was terrific. He was very good. We got along great.
Mr. President, will you give us?
Actually, he's supposed to be holding a press conference. We're talking about the president of Colombia. Yes, the president of the Republic of Colombia. He's supposed to be holding a press conference here soon. So we'll see what comes of that.
On how the talks are going for potential changes to the Department of Homeland Security. Have you agreed to any specifics?
None. Well, we have a secure border. In fact, we have 9 months now where nobody has come into our country illegally. Now, I don't know if I can believe that because, you go from 25 million people to nobody, but the Democrats do that. They're leaning left, the people that do that report. And for 9 months, they have said nobody has come into it. It is a strong, great border. We do have people coming into our country, but they're all coming in legally. You take a look at that and look at what was going on a year and a half ago on our border, where criminals were coming in, drug dealers were coming in, people from mental institutions were coming in. The worst, they say the worst, I don't even know if I like the term, but the worst of the worst was coming into our country. And now we have virtually our country it's beautiful to see. Even if you go down, some of you, I think were down there a couple of weeks ago and you couldn't believe it, right? Because you were there 2 years ago.
10,000 a day.
And 10,000 a day. Now you didn't even see anybody. Nobody comes up with saving lives because nobody comes up. They have to come through the jungles and they're dying of all sorts of problems, including murder. And we have nobody coming in, and we're getting people out that we have 11,888 murderers who came into our country. We're getting them out. We're getting them out fast. And the only place where there's a little bit of a problem, and I will tell you this, Minnesota, their crime because of us, because we've taken out thousands of criminals, their crime is down, not because of anybody else, it's because of us. Their crime is down. But all over the country, wherever we're involved, we're getting criminals out of our country, and the crime rate now is the lowest it's been since 1900. That's 125 years. And that's despite the fact with an open border stupid policy, 25 million people, in my opinion, came into our country. And many of those people should not have been allowed to come into our country.
Mr. President.
On Ukraine, Mr. President, yesterday you were talking about how Vladimir Putin had agreed to a pause during the cold weather. Overnight, those attacks have started up.
I know. It was Sunday. It was Sunday to Sunday, and it opened up, and he hit him hard last night. No, he agreed. He kept his word on that. It's a lot. 1 week is, we'll take anything because it's really, really cold over there. But it was on Sunday, and he went from Sunday to Sunday.
Are you disappointed he didn't go further?
Yeah, I would like to. I want him to end the war. I spoke to him. I want him to end the war.
Mr. President, what exactly did you mean?
I mean, as one of the harshest winters in the region rolls through there, it is getting pretty tough for the Ukrainians and the Russians to keep this war going. But as we know, the press guy that Putin is, he's keeping it going. And of course, we all want Putin to stop the war, but it doesn't seem that Putin is going to stop it unless, well, it seems like he's looking for Ukraine to surrender. Well, they're not willing to concede land, so they're looking for a full surrender, and they already got about 10 to 20% of their land taken. So I'm not sure how much they need to be taken, like 40, 50 before they come to the table and they're just like, okay, yeah, we'll go ahead and concede the land and end the war. But right now, that's not happening. NATO and Ukraine are basically still going against Russia, but we'll see how that ends for them.
Said that you should nationalize elections. In which 15 states are you talking about?
I want to see elections be honest. And if a state can't run an election, I think the people behind me should do something about it. Because, if you think about it, a state is an agent for the federal government in elections. I don't know why the federal government doesn't do them anyway. But when you see some of these states about how horribly they run their elections, what a disgrace it is, I think the federal government, when you see crooked elections, and we had plenty of them, and by the way, we had them last time, but go to 2020 and look at the facts that are coming out. rigged, crooked elections. If we have areas, take a look at Detroit, take a look at Pennsylvania, take a look at Philadelphia. You go take a look at Atlanta, look at some of the places that horrible corruption on elections. And the federal government should not allow that. The federal government should get involved. These are agents of the federal government to count the votes. If they can't count the votes legally and honestly, then somebody else should take
But the
over.
Constitution says it should be states that
Go
administer
ahead.
elections, Mr.
Yeah,
President.
they
That's what
can,
the
you know what?
Constitution says.
They can administer the election, but they have to do it honestly.
Yeah, that's the problem. I mean, well, here's the thing. We would hope that we can trust states to run a fair and honest election. But as we've seen in California, I mean, bro, they're not even asking for people's IDs. I mean, voter ID isn't definitely not a thing over there. And that's a lot of blue states that don't got voter ID, that there may be non-citizens voting in their elections. We all know there's non-citizens living in their area running up the census, but there also may be non-citizens voting in their elections, thus keeping these guys in power, which is not fair. And the only reason why these non-citizens vote for these Democrats, because they're the ones who invoke the policies to let their ass over here in high numbers.
On warrants when it comes to ICE, this is an ask from Senator Schumer.
Meaning,
Requiring search warrants for ICE and immigration officials.
I haven't even thought of it. I'm not thinking about search warrants.
Can I add something?
Yeah, Lindsey Graham is going to
Yeah. No, makes no sense. If we have to get a search warrant to get 15 million people out, Schumer's telling me he doesn't want them out. It's the most ridiculous idea. They do have some good ideas, I think. But I've got a better idea. It's your idea. In sanctuary cities. On immigration, I know what I'm talking about. I've got the scars to prove it. Y'all are playing like Biden didn't exist. Y'all won't tell the American people about Lake and Riley. It's a one-sided debate. For 4 years, our border was obliterated. They let them come in by the tens of millions, and they want to go back that way. We're not going. So, Mr. President, stick to your guns. If you got reforms that make ICE better, more professional, talk to me. But you should embrace what I'm suggesting. As long as 12 states have sanctuary policy, they'll keep coming. Unfortunately, you won't be president forever. These magnets of illegal immigration have to go. There is no upside to sanctuary city unless you're a complete radical nut job. The cops hate it, fraud around sanctuary cities, and you're going to get more illegal immigration. We're going to have a debate. I've been trying to solve this problem, but what the Democrats are doing is they're not getting to the underlying problem. It's not Stephen Miller. It's not Chrissy Nome. It's not me. It's not you. It's policies that have been on the books that don't work. So if you want to debate on how to solve this problem, show up next week. I'm going to take President Trump's idea that it's time to end the—
Now, I don't agree with Lindsey Graham all the time, but right now I'm agreeing with Lindsey Graham because it's just what he's saying is common sense. I know he's your favorite warmongering like Republican, but let's be real, and I don't like that about him, but let's be real, he's making sense. He's like, look, you guys want to sit here and blame Chrissy Nome and Stephen Miller over rhetoric, but you're not willing to sit here and blame Jacob Fry and Tim Walz for not bringing out the National Guard, not bringing out the local police, providing crowd control, all things that they have the power to do that have prevented those 2 deaths from happening. Y'all want to talk about that, though. Y'all want to sit there and act like this is all Christy Nome's fault when how? I mean, it's not like Minnesota is a common case here. This is happening all over America, but yet Minnesota is where it's getting this violent. So we can't sit there and blame Christy Nome because it's only happening in what? 1 out of the many cities that ICE is in. So no, we can't blame Chrissy Nome. But we could sit here and call her a dumbass for sitting there trying to call them domestic terrorists with no proof. We'll sit there and say that. But we're not going to sit here and say, oh, no, this is because of her negligence of duty or she's not running it right. No, she is. The problem is in Minnesota is that they want protesters to start obstructing ICE. Their politicians are allowing it. They're not providing no crowd control. They're not bringing the National Guard to provide a police barricade to keep the protesters safe and not get involved in ICE operations because that's what's getting these protesters hurt. For some reason, y'all don't want to stop step 1, but y'all want to wait to the final result to sit there and start trying to hold people accountable. I mean, please miss us with that.
Insane policy of sanctuary cities. We're going to take it to the floor and we're going to vote, and people in November are going to get to see who they trust to keep the border secure.
Oh, let's
Schumer,
not forget to double tap that screen like the video, guys. We got over 200 y'all in here. Do me a favor and double tap that screen.
or Trump? I'm with Trump.
Mr. President.
And by the way, I hope you're going to press that very hard. And the other thing, we are not, well, we are with you. I think everybody's with you. It's a sanctuary for criminals. That's who it is. They could make our lives so much easier. All they have to do is hand over their criminals, hand over people that came into our country illegally that are murderers. They came out of jails. They came out of mental.
And shout out to my man, Mr. Paramedic. He says on Rumble, by the way, he says, what up? Can't wait for the analysis segment. Yeah, me too. I can't wait to get into that as well.
Institutions that are drug dealers. I can't believe in Minnesota that they want to have murderers walking all over the streets. I just don't believe it. Maybe somebody says it's good politics. I don't think it's good politics. I think it's really bad. The other thing we can't lose sight of is you probably have in Minnesota, and it's worse in some places like California.
I mean, here's the thing that the Dems don't want to hear, though. It's like, yeah, you guys are protecting your undocumented neighbors, but you're also protecting, you know, pedophiles as well, like murderers as well. Like, yes, you are stopping ICE from getting the undocumented immigrants who did nothing but come over here illegally, which is still a crime, by the way, but you're also stopping them from getting the illegal immigrant that's committed more heinous crimes. So I know you guys want to call Trump the pedophile protector, but I mean, look what y'all doing right now in Minnesota. That's exactly what you're doing right now in Minneapolis. So it's pretty hard for you guys to sit there and point fingers when you're literally protecting the worst of the worst right now.
$19 billion.
We're protecting y'all neighbors.
And we're going to find out, you know, we're very deep into that investigation, but we're not going to forget that. A lot of people think that a lot of this nonsense that's going on is to try and, you know, hide what's going on with respect to the fraud. They have at least $19 billion. You know, you're hearing 9. Now I'm hearing it's 19 and it's probably much more. So it's you know, they talk about incompetence. I think it's not incompetence. I think it's just pure fraud. These are dishonest people. They're bad people. I think they hate our country, and we're going to get to the bottom of it. But don't let this hide the fact that you have tremendous fraud. And, you know, if we find the fraud in this country, you'll have a balanced budget without even cutting anything. You'll literally have a balanced budget. Yeah, please.
Are you planning to work with President Petro to fight guerrilla groups and terrorist organizations in Venezuela?
Well, they want me to do that, and we will. We're getting along very well in Venezuela with the leadership.
Yes, we are.
Very, very well. You know, we took in 50 million barrels of oil. It's right now heading to Houston. And we're getting along very well with them, but we're going to work with them, yes.
Mr. President, months ago you had in your office here Peter Mandelson, the British ambassador. You were shaking hands with him over a trade deal. He's today been forced to resign from the House of Lords, the upper house of the British Parliament, over his links to Jeffrey Epstein. Just wondered if you had any reaction to that, since obviously he was here before.
I didn't know about it, but I really don't know too much about it. I know who he is. It's too bad. You know, speaking of Epstein, I will say this. A reporter.
I mean, bro, this guy, Andrew, bro, does this guy need to go to jail? Not only would you out here walking with Epstein, try to deny a relationship with him, had an extremely close relationship with him, and now there's photos of you standing over what seems to be an unconscious little girl with people in the background. So, I mean, bro, yeah, he needs to go to jail. Actually, I'm actually happy that the prime minister said, well, Starmer said, yo, yeah, you need to go back and testify in front of Congress or in front of the Americans for what you did, bro, because there's no defending you at this point. I mean, we already stripped away your royal duties, or royal status, but yeah, you need to actually go out there and explain yourself, because this is bad. When it comes to Prince Andrew, it's that bad.
Named Wolf. And Epstein conspired.
Oh, and shout out to my man Jet on Rumble. Appreciate the support, bro. He says the left wants open borders, but now they are putting up borders and barricades in Minnesota to keep ICE out. Make that make sense, like, bro. He's like, literally. Like, man, yeah, y'all couldn't have done that y'all couldn't have done that for the illegals. Okay. Here's the thing, though. Like, these guys in like Minneapolis are complaining about a police state, but they're literally about to walk themselves into a police state if they keep on aggressing against ICE. I mean, it gets to a certain point that what y'all gonna start doing? Shooting at ICE? Then when they become the police state, you guys are gonna sit there and cry and complain when your leadership did not do anything to try to uphold the law at all or to try to keep you guys safe at all. But it's Trump's fault though. Okay. Like I said, it's the complete delusion if you're in Minneapolis sitting there thinking that, oh, this is all Trump's fault. No, it's your mayor and Tim Walz.
This just came out yesterday in the millions of pages of documents, how crazy this is, conspired against me in order to fight like hell to make sure I lose the election. That's the only thing that was mentioned about me. Now, about Democrats, some really bad stuff, but about me, that Wolf, whoever Wolf is, he wrote a book, a couple of books, and Epstein conspired against me. Did you know that, Mr. Senator? Did you know that? They conspired against me, so I lose the election, or worse. So that takes care of Epstein as far as Trump is concerned, but you got a lot of Democrats out there that are very much involved with Epstein. But I'll be honest with you, you got to get back to running the country too.
Now, it has been proven that, yeah, Epstein was trying to scheme against Trump because he didn't want Trump to win because Epstein was, well, he's a Democrat. He's a liberal. I mean, bro, look at the man's lifestyle. I'm like, outside the pedophilia, the man was really involved in Hollywood and all that good stuff. So, yeah, and what's mainly Hollywood comprised of politically? Liberals. I mean, come on, now look at the Grammys. Look how that worked out. But yeah, so it does make sense that Jeffrey Epstein was trying to go against the man. He's a Republican. All of a sudden, he's the guy that kicked him out the club. He's like, F this guy. So yeah, that makes sense. Now, does this kind of sweep under the rug the multiple allegations against Trump? Well, not really, but you are going to have to track those down to actually see if they can be corroborated. And we are going to have to try to, like, I guess the name of some of these victims because, well, to be honest with you, all we know is that somebody came in, said this stuff, and then we either checked it up and we said, no, there's nothing to this, or we never ran it up and somehow that young lady died. I'm not talking about Trump. I'm talking about across the board in the Epstein files. This what seems to happen. They snitch on but they complain on a billionaire or a high net worth individual or a high status individual, and it's either it gets, investigated and nothing comes of it, which is okay, because like I said, there be haters out there, or it was never looked into and the person is either seen as crazy or they died, I don't know, maybe like a week later. That just seems to be the pattern.
Millions and millions every week. When Epstein was alive, nobody cared about him. When he's dead, they care about him. But it's really a Democrat problem. It's not a Republican, it's a Democrat problem. The only
wanted to touch that man Epstein. We're talking about a man that could drop info on you and everybody in your social group in a second, especially if you're involved in politics, business, and of course entertainment. But who would want to touch that guy? You have to wait till he was dead to come after him. Honestly, I think one of the main reasons they killed Epstein is because all he had to do was make a 5-minute, 10-minute video on everybody who was involved, and bruh, it'd have been over. It'd have been over. And I wish he had the time to do that. I wish. But shout out my man Jet. He said Grammys got even worse. It's a lefty circle jerk now. I mean, no, exactly. I seen it. And I know Trump seen it as well because he tweeted about it. Not in kind words, of course.
problem Republicans have is that we have to get back to number one, running our country, and then number two, very importantly, letting the public know what a great job we're doing. We have the greatest economy in the history of the world. We have $18 trillion being spent. The record was $3 trillion many years ago, not by us, by another country. I won't say the country. Yeah.
Did you read the new files, Mr. President, that
Have you
came
been
out?
briefed on Savannah Guthrie's mom missing in Arizona?
I think it's terrible.
Would you commit to more federal agents like helping out on the search?
Sure,
or
I
anything
would.
like
I'm
that?
going to call her later on. I think it's a terrible thing. I always got along very good with Savannah. Very unusual situation, but we're going to find out. Yeah, what do you want?
On the Epstein files, you talked about Democrats who were in there. Elon Musk was also in there, and so was your Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick and correspondence that he had with him. Did you read those new files?
This man cold-blooded with it. He just shrugged that one off. He's like, man, I don't care. He's like, shoot, my name being cleared, it don't matter. But no, now look, when it comes to Elon, now look, the story about Elon raping girls, that was never corroborated. It actually seems like Elon was never in that vicinity. It was just a story told about him for some crazy reason. But what makes it bad on Elon is the fact that he said he never wanted to go to Epstein Island. He said never had no interest, but there's emails showing that he had interest in doing so. Now, 3 days later, who knows? Elon could have got word of what really goes down, or he could have been just too busy and he said, no, I'm good. But the problem is that Elon said he had no interest, and there's emails showing that he showed interest. Does that mean Elon is a pedophile? Of course not. That means it means that he either wanted to be secretive about that conversation or he forgot about it, which can happen. We're talking about something that was like 2013, over 10 years ago. So we can give a little grace to Elon. Lutnick, however, man, it's a bit complicated because he said after that little engagement with Epstein, where he walked in and seen the massage chair and it looked all so creepy and all that, the vibes were off. He walked out and his wife said, yeah, you're never going there again. All of a sudden, you have emails of him texting Epstein on talking about, oh, well, can we get dinner? That's the problem.
Published by the
No,
Department of Justice?
I have a lot of things I'm doing, a lot of things I'm doing. I don't know. You mentioned 2 names. I'm sure they're fine. I'm sure they're fine. Otherwise, it would have been major headlines.
A lot of women who are survivors of Epstein's are unhappy with those redactions that came out. Some of them, entire witness interviews are totally blacked out. Do you think that they should be more transparent?
They thought they released too much. I heard that, and you tell me something else. No.
Oh, guys, do me a favor and double tap that screen and like the video, guys. Let's get us to 100 likes. So let's do that by double tapping that screen. Appreciate the support.
I think it's really time for the country to get onto something else. Really. Now that nothing came out about me, other than it was a conspiracy against me, literally by Epstein and other people. But I think it's time now for the country to maybe get onto something else.
But what would you say to people
like
who feel like they haven't gotten
healthcare
justice, Mr. President?
Something that people care about. Yeah, what did you say?
No, we care about the
Epstein
Epstein.
survivors who feel like they haven't gotten
You are
justice.
the worst reporter. No wonder CNN has no ratings because of people like you. She's a young woman. I don't think I've ever seen you smile. I've known you for 10 years. I don't think I've ever seen a smile
Well,
on
I'm
your
asking
face.
you about survivors.
You know
of
why?
Jeffrey
You know why
Epstein,
you're
Mr.
not
President.
smiling? Because you're not telling the truth.
Damn.
And
Okay, Trump.
You're a very dishonest organization, and they should be ashamed of you.
These
Okay,
are
go
survivors
ahead.
of
Yeah.
sexual abuse.
of healthcare, and the bill that was just passed does not include your healthcare savings.
I mean, look, I kind of feel where Trump is coming from. He's like, all right, what else do you want me to do? It's like, I'm releasing the files. I can't really control what the DOJ is doing. It's a sloppy job, but take that to Todd Blanche and Pam Bondi over here trying to grill me as if I have say over the redactions, and he doesn't. I mean, there's only so much Trump can answer for at the end of the day. Like, let's be real.
So this is a question for you and maybe for Mr. Speaker as well.
I mean, like CNN, if you really want to ask somebody, oh yeah, you already had Todd Blanche on like a day ago, and you ain't want to ask him this question. Like, really? I mean, you've yet to have Pam Bondi on, which I don't think she would go for, to be quite honest with you. Pam Bondi seemed to be ducking every interview but a Fox interview.
Proud of the healthcare savings accounts because it's going to happen. And hopefully, instead of insurance, and I hope this happens, and I hope you guys can do it, let the insurance companies not do quite as well. They're going up 15, 16.
Hey, and shout out to my man Mondi. He says, chat reminder, blanket warning, no racism, no disrespect towards directly. Oh, my bad. No disrespect directly to other chatters and no defamation on uncorroborated claims. You will be timed out, then booted. Mods, keep an eye out. All right. No uncorroborated claims. I don't know about that one, Monty. They might not even be knowing it's uncorroborated. Like, you got to give them a little bit of grace on that one. Because you end up kicking people that might be on our side. That's going off some bad information.
1,700%. Think of it. The money should be
But
paid
everything else is good.
directly to the people. Trillions of dollars goes out. The money should go to the people. They
Wait,
should
whoa.
buy their own health care. It can be in a healthcare, account, savings account, any account you want to make. The money should go to the people. The people should buy their own health care, and they're going to save a lot of money. And they're going to have much better health care. And it's very simple. The problem is the Democrats are owned by those insurance companies. They're owned lock, stock, and barrel. And the Democrats will never vote on it.
Owned lock and key.
The Republicans should get that through. And you know how you get it through? The filibuster. Get rid of the filibuster and start voting. Yes.
Mr. President, today we heard that the Clintons set deposition dates to testify before the House Oversight Committee. Any reaction to that related to the Epstein?
I think it's a shame, to be honest. I always liked him. Her, yeah. Yeah, she's a very capable woman. She was better in debating than some of the other people, I will tell you that. She was smart woman. I hate to see it in many ways. I hate to see it, but, then I look at me, they went after me like, they wanted me to go to jail for the rest of my life.
Oh, and shout out my man Daniel Castro. He says breaking news: Monty was in the foul, was great. Like, bro, well, damn. Like, just for record, Monty was not in the fives.
It turned out I was
Like,
innocent,
damn.
very innocent. I had a friend that said, a very smart friend.
Hey, shout out my man Monty Castro. Warning one: I'm Greek. Because that claim is uncorroborated.
Very wealthy man, knows the life, streetwise guy. He said, you have to be the most honest person anywhere in the world because there's never been anybody who's been examined up and down. I have hundreds of thousands of pages of documents, millions of pages. With all of that, they found absolutely nothing wrong. Remember his tax returns, they fought for years and years. And then the Supreme Court, I was surprised, they ruled I had to give my tax returns. I'm the only one that had to ever do that. But I had to give my tax returns. I gave my tax returns. They hired the best accounting firms in the world. They found nothing. And this friend of mine said, you have to be the most honest person in the world. He actually said, I'm referring to him. I'm a pretty honest guy, but I could have never withstood that. They've gone through millions and millions of pages, and here I sit winning an election in a landslide, winning the popular vote, winning all 7 swing states, winning 86% of the counties in the United States. That's why those maps that you see are all red. And so they tried to put me in jail, and I shouldn't feel this way, but I feel badly that they have to go through that. But then I say, but they did far worse than me. They wanted to put me in jail. Think of it. I was a very good president. We had a great first term, rebuilt the military, biggest tax cuts ever, biggest regulation cuts ever. But, I will say this, I think I can say, what do you think, Lindsay? My second term is blowing my first term away. And my first term was really good.
Reagan plus.
Reagan plus, yeah. Well, whatever. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
And all right, now let's get over to the next video here because we got House leadership. Actually, let me see if this president finally made it here. Nope. All right, so the Colombian president still hasn't came out to address the press yet. So let's get over here to Senate Dems hold a press briefing after House passes bill to end the government shutdown. Well, that's good. That's good. We're in the clear, guys. We're in the clear.
All right. Good afternoon. And I thank Senators Murray and Schatz for being here. Now, under President Trump, Kristi Noem, and Stephen Miller, we have some quiet, please. Good afternoon, everybody. Under President Trump, Kristi Noem, and Stephen Miller, ICE's been unleashed without guardrails, violating constitutional rights, and refusing to coordinate with state and local law enforcement. That's not border security, and that's not law and order. It's chaos created at the top and inflicted on our neighborhoods and our cities.
Bruh. I mean, the only thing you were right about was that, yeah, it's created from the top, which is Tim Walz and Jacob Fry, who's refusing to provide any type of control on the situation. There's no crowd control. There's no cutting off of certain parts of the street so ICE can do their operations. Nothing, none of that. You guys are literally letting protesters obstruct ICE officers, go after them, hunt them down. I mean, one even got their finger bitten off, and you guys are going like, oh, yeah, this is all manufactured by ICE? No, this is manufactured by Jacob Fry and Tim Walz, and they want to sit there and play innocent. But if you have any type of rational thinking, you would understand that, yo, ICE is not meant to do crowd control. Neither is Custom Border Patrol. But due to the fact that these guys are not giving them the crowd control that they need with the local police, they have to bring in these guys, and it's getting out of hand. And I can't sit there and blame ICE because they have to do their job. Can't sit there and blame Customs and Border Patrol because they're only getting brought in because Jacob Fry and Tim Walz are not doing their job. So who do we blame? The people trying to do their job or the people who refuse to do their job?
Yesterday, Secretary Noem, who for some reason still has a job, announced that
Right, you
agents
still
in
got one.
Minneapolis will start wearing body cameras. Let me be clear. Kristi Noem does not get credit for agents saying agents will finally do what they should have been doing all along. And why just Minneapolis? Why not the whole country? Every DHS agent everywhere should have a body camera, and it should be on. That protects Americans, it protects officers, it's common sense. But executive actions are not enough, and this administration has proven it cannot be trusted. We don't need promises, we need law. That's why Democrats are pushing simple, uniform reforms to protect Americans everywhere. First, end roving patrols. Warrants. That's what America, when you arrest somebody, when you break into their house, you need a warrant. Why is ICE accepted from that? You don't get to scoop innocent Americans off the streets.
Yeah, they're not scooping innocent Americans off the street. They're scooping undocumented immigrants off the street. Criminals, undocumented criminals off the street, not citizens at all. And they really they can detain citizens for up to 72 hours, but there's been no citizen detained for 72 hours. Actually, I was crying about somebody being detained for 2 days. When that's lawful. I'm sorry, but look it up. You can be detained for up to 72 hours. And if they don't bring no charges with you after that and you stay 74 hours, then that's a problem.
Second, accountability. ICE must follow the same rules as local police departments, including independent investigations. And speaking of playing by the same rules, masks need to come off.
Nope.
Cameras need to go on.
Sure. No, I agree with him on that. Like masks, though, they don't need to come off because you guys are doxing these people and harassing their family members. So no, we can't trust you guys to do that. But what we can do is put body cams on. I mean, that's completely fair. So I'll give him that one.
Every officer needs to have ID. Simple, plain ID. It's common sense. If a small-town police officer in upstate New York needs to have identification, why doesn't a federal officer? Why are Republicans against this? Which is true in just about every police department in America.
Yeah, bro, because actually, here's the thing. You want to know why they don't want to bring out the local police? Because the local police will have to mask up as well because they'd be seen as the enemy, just like ICE is. And that's why, and Jacob Fry and Tim Walz know what the fuck they did. They know that they bring out the local police, the local policemen will be targeted. They will have to mask up just like ICE because anybody who helps ICE is now seen as the enemy in Minnesota. If you ain't seen that James O'Keefe video, you might want to go look it up how bad it is out there. Now, you want to tell me that what? You're going to go ahead and bring the local police out and not mask them up when they're over here taking pictures of the ICE officers and going after their family members? And you think that's okay? Yeah, they're not telling you the whole story, obviously.
What are they hiding? Who is Noem hiding? Who is she protecting? Is it because that so many have bad records in the ICE force?
No, they don't. Actually, the ICE guys are ex-law enforcement and veterans. So you're lying. That's crazy how they're going to lie about ICE because they don't want to take accountability for what they're doing in Minneapolis. Like I said, Tim Walz could have brought in National Guard to provide crowd control and keep people like Renee Good and Alex Petty from dying. Jacob Fry brought in the local police to keep people like Renee Good and Alex Petty from dying, but that was never done. And then they're forcing ICE, who's not trained in crowd control whatsoever, but have to perform it to be able to do their investigation. You're forcing them to do this. And then when things go bad, because you're forcing people who are not trained in crowd control, but trained in law enforcement to provide crowd control, you don't expect things to go bad and you want to blame ICE. But guess what? You can't blame ICE because this is not happening in any other city but Minneapolis. What does that tell you? That there's a special case going on there, because in other cities, I'm gonna be real with you, these people aren't as bad. They're not tracking down ICE. They're not doing no ICE watcher. They're not doxing them to go after their family members. They're not biting off their fucking fingers, by the way. This is all happening in Minnesota. They're not throwing fireworks at them. This is all in Minnesota. So you can't sit here and blame ICE at this point because everywhere else they're working fine. You're using a one-off situation and trying to act like it's happening across America, and that's a lie.
Or don't really belong there? No more anonymous agents. No secret operatives. These are common sense reforms, ones that Americans already know and expect from law enforcement. If Republicans refuse to support them, then they're choosing chaos over order.
Y'all not even supporting ICE. Y'all are choosing a chaos over the order. When you guys don't support ICE and you let these protesters go out there and disturb them, that's disorder. You're allowing that. Like, what are you talking about? Like, the only reason why this has happened is because your rhetoric towards ICE and the actions you've allowed towards ICE.
Choosing to protect ICE from accountability over American lives. And one final point. Since the deaths of Alex Preddy and Renee Good, nothing meaningful has changed. Last week in Portland, federal agents fired tear gas at a crowd that included children. In Colorado, an agent stole a woman's phone, then shoved her to the ground and beat her when she tried to get it back. This must stop. Republicans must change and help us change.
No. Dems, you must change your rhetoric towards ICE. And you must allow ICE to do their job and stop crying about deportations of undocumented immigrants and undocumented immigrants with a criminal history. Y'all got to stop crying about that. And that's the problem with the Dems. It's like, see, their rhetoric gets people killed and they tell us to turn down the temperature. The only reason Renee Good sped off is because of people like Tim Walz, who said that ICE is going to kidnap you and take you to a foreign torture dungeon. That's why people react like that. People like Alex Preddy thinks it's okay to get involved in a law enforcement scene because he don't see them as law enforcement. He sees them as Gestapo and fascists, which you guys call them, and Nazis. That's the only reason why this is happening. So stop trying to sit there and blame it on ICE when it's literally y'all rhetoric.
They need to work with us and legislate now. Senator Murray.
Last week, we wrapped up 11 of our 12 funding bills and passed those bills that rejected the devastating cuts from Trump and the House Republicans. It ended the slush fund continuing resolution, and it took Congress's power of the pen back from Russ vote and rejected every far-right poison pill. But our work is not done. There is one bill left, DHS, because we cannot fund DHS if we do not rein in DHS.
Well, you want to why she's saying DHS? Because they've already funded ICE throughout the entire year. Yeah, ICE funding already been funded. The Republicans outsmarted them on that. So, and this is how childish they are. Because they can't go after the department they want to or the force they want to, which is ICE, they're willing to make all of DHS suffer for how they feel against ICE. And how fucking petty is that? Like, I'm sorry, but as a grown adult, and there's a lot of grown adults in here, I know most of y'all are like 35 through 65, most of y'all being 65. As a grown adult, are you serious? So you're going to punish the entire DHS department because you can't go after ICE. Your main problem is with ICE, but you're going after the entire DHS department. How fair is it to those Americans who you're not even mad at? You're only doing this because of ICE, but you can't get ICE, so you're going to go after the rest of them? That's pathetic. That's fucked up. But here's Dems over here supporting it.
That is a clear, hard line. Law enforcement cannot be lawless. But that's exactly what we have been seeing from ICE and CBP. What is happening in Minneapolis has not been subtle. Federal agents are going door to door asking for papers, and just as often ignoring papers, taking in people who are legally seeking asylum, like little 5-year-old Liam and his father, who a judge forced them to release this week.
Yeah, because he was undocumented. And here's the thing, just because a judge forced them to be released doesn't mean that they're innocent. Like, if you ain't know, bro, these people are getting taken to jails. The undocumented people are getting taken to jails, and the jails are releasing them. And then sometimes the jails refuse to give them to ICE. Not the prisons, but the jails. So that's why I started to try to take these guys to the prisons, because for some reason the jails aren't giving up the illegals and they're letting them go. And this is an example of it happening right in our face. Like that guy right there, no, he's an undocumented. And they try to give the child to the mother, and the mother might be an undocumented because she was too afraid to go outside to get her child because of ICE. I mean, come on now, guys. You can't pull on heartstrings forever. Like, yes, I know it was a little kid, but well, one, the little kid was taken into Child Protective Services, not detained by ICE. Like, y'all know that, right? Like, he's an anchor baby, sadly. He's an anchor baby. 2 undocumented immigrants had a baby, and this kid is ours. So that's an American citizen, and he's getting taken to Child Protective Services. But his parents, I don't know. Well, we'll see about the mother, but the father, they're most likely going to pick that man back up again. And guess what? The Dems are going to ignore the story because they can't pull heartstrings on it.
We have people that have done nothing wrong being abducted by masked agents with no warrant, shipped across the country, and herded into overcrowded detention centers for who knows how long. Some of them taken in Minneapolis.
Who knows? If y'all would give them up, it wouldn't be that long. Y'all not allowing these undocumented immigrants to be shipped off to ICE or to be taken by ICE and deported. You're not allowing them. You're either letting them go or blocking ICE. That's why they started taking them to prisons. So, damn, everything they say is a lie when it comes to ICE, huh?
Mind you, are being left out in the street in Texas. No way to get home when ICE is forced to grapple with the reality they were here legally all along. The response to this lawless catastrophe has been understandable. Outrage from everyone who believes this is a country where law, order, due process, and basic human decency matters. People have protested peacefully. People have done.
No, they haven't. There are some people protesting peacefully, but as soon as you get involved or you start impeding or obstructing law enforcement or the ICE officers, yeah, you're no longer peacefully protesting. But that's what they try to make it seem. Oh, they're just all peacefully protesting. No, they're not. Renee Good wasn't peacefully protesting. You can't obstruct traffic. You can't block traffic, honk horn in the rhythm, and try to obstruct ICE operations and sit there and say, oh, that's a peaceful protest. You're not. Alex Pretty, he could have just sat there and stayed on the side and just kept yelling and holding up his sign, but he wanted to get involved, went right towards an ICE officer to block him. And guess what? That's not peaceful protesting. That's obstruction. So no, they're not peaceful protesters. At least the ones that got shot. And I mean, I wish they never got shot. I wish they'd have taken different actions, but they walked themselves into that.
Documented the chaos as legal observers, and the Trump administration response to that has only grown more unhinged and infuriating. We saw protesters tear gassed, even as they were pinned on the ground. We saw the shocking murders of Renee Good and Alex Pretty, and we heard the administration lie every
murders. Wow. Oh, so you know what's crazy? Isn't it funny how she just got done talking about due process? You know, innocent till proven guilty. And then she's over here calling these guys murderers with no due process, no investigation. Bro, I don't even know how y'all Dems follow this sometimes. She just literally sat there in our face, talk about due process, then called these guys murderers with no due process.
step of the way. They lied about little Liam and his dad being here illegally. They lied about Alex Pretty brandishing a weapon and called him a terrorist. And just this week, we all saw a video of a woman who was abruptly cut off, pulled over, guns immediately drawn on her, nearly arrested before the local police stepped in and
Talking about the disabled lady? No, there was no guns pulled on her. They broke her window and they dragged her out the car. She didn't have guns pulled on her. Why are you lying?
Saved her from ICE. And yet the Trump administration is trying now to lie about that too. Enough. We are not going to fund a rogue department with its unchecked agents and officers. We're going to have accountability at DHS, or there will not be Democratic votes to fund a lawless agency.
Yeah, see, because they can't go after ICE. Now they're going after all of DHS, who honestly ain't even do nothing. They're not the ones out there, bro. So you're going to defund the entire agency because of ICE. Because they think about it, ICE, their funding has already been approved throughout the entire year. They cannot defund ICE. I know they were talking about it, but they had to walk that back once they realized that ICE was already funded. So now they're just about to just screw over the entire DHS for what ISIS did because they can't go after them. Childish.
If Republicans refuse to make the changes the American people are demanding, they are forcing a Republican shutdown of DHS. The chaos, the brutality, all of it has happened at the explicit direction of this president and a Republican Congress that wrote him a blank check. If Republicans want Democratic votes to
Whoa, sweetheart, you was there too. Y'all was there too. Hold on now. Y'all approved the funding as well.
fix this, then they need to understand that half measures won't cut it. It really is that simple. This is somber stuff. Legal immigrants being brutalized, American citizens being detained, American citizens being shot and killed by our own immigration enforcement. The Trump administration needs to take these abuses seriously and understand that what Democrats are demanding is reasonable and it is necessary. End the roving patrols. Hold federal agents accountable and hold them to the same standards as local law enforcement on the basic things like use of force. Get masks off, get body cameras on.
I would say this. I would be like, all right, cool. We'll take masks off, but we need a 10-year automatic sentence to anybody who docks an ICE officer that we can trace. Cool. No. That's cool. Mask off, but we need immediate punishment, severe punishment on anybody who doxes ICE and go after their family member. I want it to be traced through the FBI, CIA. I don't give a damn. We find those people and we arrest them. If you want their mask off, let's make sure our officers are safe, because the problem with you liberals is that you leave these guys to the wolves, let them get attacked, and then you guys won't say shit. The ICE officer will die and they won't say a damn thing. And they'll know it's because he got doxxed. They won't say a damn thing. So I would say this. If the Republicans are smart, they'll be like, okay, cool. But anybody who doxes an ICE officer, automatic, expedited sentencing and severe punishment. Like off the rip. Off the rip. Because we can't play with them. Because, I mean, the Democrats will sit here and watch these guys get harassed and talk about, oh, well, this is freedom of speech. Watch these guys get harassed and all, and they'll be like, well, you got to understand. It's like, this is part of the peaceful protest. It's like, okay, just like throwing what? Just like biting off fingers is, just like obstruction is, right?
And ensure proper identification. So my message to Trump and this entire administration, stop the lying, stop slandering American citizens and lawful immigrants, stop insulting our intelligence and spitting on the Constitution. This country sees right through this.
No. We see right through you and y'all bullshit. There's no way y'all gonna sit there, like, pretty much did nothing to make the protests like a little bit more, I don't know, controlled. Yeah, you did nothing to make it more controlled. Then you want to sit there and blame ICE when you literally have people walking up to ICE while they're doing an investigation or an operation. Like, they shouldn't be able to do that. Like, I don't know why American people don't realize this, but you shouldn't be able to walk up on ICE and impede on an investigation like that. That's obstruction. But for some reason, you guys are making it seem like this is normal, like this is part of peaceful protest when it's not. You're making these rioters literally believe that they're peaceful protesters. But no, they're violent obstructionists at a certain point.
The people recognize that Democrats...
Oh, and shout out to my man Jay says, since Trump won, Dems been behaving like children. And it's the most childish thing to do when, because you can't go after ICE funding, you're going after all of DHS, who has literally nothing to do with, well, most of them have nothing to do with this ICE operations that's going on that you're oh so mad about. That's crazy. That's crazy. It's crazy that Dems won't even like stick up for people and be like, yeah, low, y'all shouldn't be doing that. If y'all can't get ICE, give it up. Don't just go after the entire department of DHS like all of them are complicit, like they're not. And any one of you Dems should be condemning this.
Are fighting to protect basic American principles and basic American rights. My message to Republicans, we are at the table. We are ready to negotiate serious measures to rein in these rogue federal agencies. We are focused on getting a bill, and it has to be a bill that reins in the abuses we are seeing done by ICE and CBP.
No. What y'all need to do is force, like, I don't know if y'all need to actually bring in the National Guard to provide crowd control, force Jacob Fry to bring in local policemen to provide crowd control, and actually protect your constituents. That's all you got to do. Like, you're literally trying to hone down on ICE when they're not the problem. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but they're not the problem. And we're talking about Minnesota only, by the way. So obviously it ain't ICE, because this would be happening all across America. We'd be seeing plenty of deaths almost every day if it was ICE. But no, we're only seeing this in Minneapolis because there is no real leadership being taken there. There's no control over these protests that should be taken by the local government. That's it. That's all. Like, y'all can sit here and try to blame ICE all day, but the buck stops at Tim Walz and Jacob Fry.
Americans deserve accountability. We will settle for nothing less.
Thank you.
This isn't about immigration. This is about an out of control agency. And I want to be really clear. This is not a Democratic wish list. This isn't about trying to enact immigration reform. All we're asking is that this federal law enforcement agency operate like every other law enforcement agency operates in the country, that they hold themselves to the same standard.
Oh God, let's not forget to double tap that screen and like the video, guys. Let's get those likes up by double tapping that screen. Appreciate the support, by the way. You have any questions, comments, jokes, or disagreements, I'll be happy to read it out loud and engage with it. Just $2 and up. Appreciate the support, guys. Yes, even you haters can go ahead and send a disagreement in. I'll be happy to read it out loud. If not, I mean, you can just hate in the chat. It's all good.
That your local police is held to. You would not tolerate it if a cop fully masked without identification snatched.
They have identification, bro. Now y'all lying. Now y'all just straight up lying. The identification is really right on them. You see the ICE vest right there. Now y'all just say, well, no identification. No, you can easily identify these guys. And when they're walking up to these protesters know who ICE is. Shoot, they're so on it with ICE, they attack people who aren't even ICE. So what are you talking about?
Off the street in broad daylight without a warrant or due process, because that is not safety. That is government thuggery. That is government thuggery. And so one of the reasons that people are so exercised, not just Democrats, not just progressives, but libertarians and Republicans and people in urban communities and rural communities and suburbs and exurbs, everybody is angry because this agency in particular is out of control.
No.
This agency.
No. Not this agency. The protesters are out of control. The protesters that think it's okay to walk up to ICE and get in their way during a law enforcement scene, that's what's out of control. Protesters that think that they can throw fireworks at ICE, out of control. Bite their fingers off, out of control. Dox their family, out of control. Where's that being said, though?
In particular is out of control, and we're not demanding a series of reforms that have been our longtime political hobby horses. This is not an immigration debate. This is about the rule of law. This is about whether or not someone can present themselves to you as a law enforcement officer and not have any proof that they are a law enforcement officer. And so the next 2 weeks are about putting an end to that. Agents need warrants. They need to properly identify themselves. And if you talk to anybody in law enforcement, a service member.
Yeah, but here's the retarded part. People will be obstructing, about to get arrested, talk about, well, who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Is this? Be real with you. It's kind of retarded how they're saying, oh, well, we can't tell who they are. That's a lie. They're literally walking up with it on their vest. And if you're saying that, oh, anybody could buy it. No, we're not talking about the jacket, dumbass. We're talking about the complete tactical vest. Like with the weapons on it and all with their badge right there. It's like, what are you talking about? You guys sound dumb saying this. I mean, when you've seen all these ICE officers in Minnesota, you see them with their vest on. You know who these guys are just by looking at them. What are you talking about?
Federal law enforcement, a state sheriff, county PD, they all say, I'm officer so-and-so. Here's my badge. That is part of public safety.
Whoa. I mean, bro. Dog, I'm be real with you. When you get pulled over by an officer, they don't even hit you with the hello. My name is officer last name. How was your day today? The reason they don't even do that. What are you talking about? Bro, what? Bro, usually you won't find out the officer's name until he writes you that ticket. Why are you lying? Bro, people live out here every day in life. The people get pulled over by officers, get written that ticket, and they don't even know the officer's name then. So what do you mean? We know identification just off the look of it. I'm sorry, but yeah, they're stepping out of an unmarked car with a vest that says ICE on it. 9 times out of 10, they're ICE. I'm sorry, but you got to be retarded to think differently. Like, you got to be pretty dumb to sit here and think that what he said made sense. Like, whoa, I've been pulled over by police before, and they didn't just lay out their entire name of identification. We just all went off the assumption that he was a cop because he pulled me over with headlights in a police vehicle. I mean, shouldn't that be enough?
ICE is asking you to say that the rules don't apply to them. The basic
Remember, these are federal law enforcement agents, so they most likely abide by different rules if we're talking about federal law enforcement.
Expectations of police conduct don't apply to them.
Most likely.
The Constitution of the United States doesn't apply to them. And I think Americans across the political spectrum and across every geography are saying enough is enough.
Ready for your questions. Go ahead.
What do you say to Mike Lee's argument that the Senate rules?
And remember, these guys are federal agents. So let me go ahead and do something for you. Do federal law enforcement officers have to identify themselves? Boom, right here. Federal law enforcement officers are not universally required by a single federal statute to identify themselves in every interaction. But they must do so under specific circumstances, particularly during an arrest, searches, or crowd control, as indicated by Law Enforcement Identification Act. So here's the thing here. They not universally required by a single federal statute to identify themselves in every interaction. So yeah, what he's saying, not in every interaction does this ICE officer have to identify himself. Now, of course, in these particular, particularly during an arrest, which they don't even do then, searches, which they don't do then, but providing crowd control, yeah, they're not supposed to, but I mean, they could if they want to, but they're not actually really required, universally required to. I hope you know this. They do so, well, 1, because of this act, and 2, because it says during certain procedures. So if you think you could walk up to an officer and just say, identify yourself, a federal law enforcement officer, you might want to look at that again. Not universally required by a single federal statute to identify themselves in every interaction, but do so under specific circumstances. I mean, so yeah, what he's saying applies to law enforcement, but remember, these are federal agents we're talking about. Remember that part.
Allow the majority to require the minority to stage a talking filibuster to stop the
Look,
SAVE Act.
we've got to get this done, and we've got to get it done very quickly. The SAVE Act is an abomination. It's Jim Crow 2.0 across the country. We are going to do everything we can to stop it. Yes.
Jim Crow 2.0? Like, bro, you know what Jim Crow was, right? Are you sure you know? Because we're not out here telling them they can't go into certain places. We're telling them that, yo, you can't be here illegally, so you got to get out. Like, bro, do you know what Jim Crow was? But all right, that's wild. That's wild. I'm weak. Somebody says, oh, if any federal officer or local does not identify themselves and arrest you without reading. Bro, we're not even talking about reading you your rights. We're talking about you telling them to identify themselves. They don't universally have to do that. They're not held by any federal statute to do so. But I mean, but reading you your rights during an arrest, sure, but we're not talking about that. So I'm not sure how you even got in your head. Like, stay on topic, my friend.
But your goon just said he doesn't think that it's going to be enough time to secure the meaningful reform that he wants. How confident are you that you can achieve that by?
If Leader Thune negotiates in good faith, we can get it done. We expect to present to the Republicans a very serious, detailed proposal very shortly. Yes.
Also said just now that you are negotiating directly with the White House. He's not a part of these negotiations. Are you?
Shout out to my man Daniel Castro. He says Petty was shot by a gay minority ICE officer. LOL. Bro, dude's Hispanic. Bro, it was 2 Hispanic dudes. They said it was like Cubans who shot Petty. I mean, no, wait. Yeah, it was the Cubans who were involved in Petty's death. I was like, wow. That's funny. It's not funny, but it's funny. I think his name was Kyle Zelensky or whatever, like this progressive, right? And he was trying to call it diverse fascism. And then he used the old, tactic of saying, oh, well, they're going to come after you guys next. They just can't wait to come after you guys. It's like, no, they're not. They're not. You guys are just mad because you thought it was a bunch of KKK members and Proud Boys in ICE. But honestly, there's a good amount of Hispanics in ICE and also in Custom Border Patrol. And those are the people who got involved in Alex Preddy's shooting, sadly. But apparently that's called diverse fascism. I know, crazy, right? Somebody said, "Are you really black?" I mean, like, bro, are you stupid? Like, are you blind? I mean, I don't know. Maybe if you're blind, you hear my voice, you could probably think I'm white or something. But like, bro, really?
First, Leader Thune has to and should be part of these negotiations. And second, the House vote just passed, and we're going to present a serious proposal, detailed along the outlines of what we have talked about, to the Republicans, both in the Senate, the House, and the White House, very shortly. Yes.
Thank you, Leader Schumer. Good afternoon. In the House vote that just happened right now, Leader Jeffries and his top members of Democratic leadership voted against this deal that you guys negotiated here in the Senate. Is there a disconnect between you and Leader Jeffries?
Leader Jeffries and I are talking all the time, and we'll be meeting this afternoon to continue our discussion. Thank you.
All right, now let's get over to what the Republicans are saying now. Because, bro, that was hard to listen to. I mean, damn, the lie after lie after lie, the spin after spin after spin. I'm just like, bro, like, how do y'all do it? How do y'all Dems do this? I don't get it.
Thank you, Steve. Well, all right, it's not on autopilot anymore.
You love doing that.
I do. Makes you feel taller. So grateful to be with you all, and I'm sorry we're in this situation again. It's like Groundhog Day in a way, the bad movie, where we come back to the same failed measures of the Democrats. It was just less than 3 months ago that they shut the government down for the longest period in history, 43 days. It was painful for so many Americans. Finally, a handful of them saw the light and helped us to get the government operating again. Republicans have demonstrated over and over that we are the grown-ups in the room. We are the ones that are governing. We are the ones that are funding the government. We are the ones that are providing the vital services and trying to make government work more efficiently and effectively for everyone. After that long historic shutdown that was so painful, appropriators in both parties got together. I tip my hat to Chairman Tom Cole of the House Republican chair of the Appropriations Committee and all of our committee members. The Cardinals, the subcommittee chairs, as we call them, all worked so well in their areas, and we got 12 separate appropriations bills passed through the House, and we had a triumphant press conference announcing that. We expected it to be on a glide path through the Senate, but of course the Democrats could not miss an opportunity to try to shut the government down again.
They said out to my man Jay, he said Dems ate that up like their daily handfuls of SSRIs. I mean, damn. Well, Jet. But honestly, though, let's see how the Republicans are taking this, though, because obviously we see that the Dems are trying to spin this into, oh, it's ice, when they're not trying to hold their own accountable. Now, I always say that about the Democrat base. It's like, y'all don't hold your own accountable for y'all terrible leadership. Like, that's really what it is. It's the terrible leadership of Tim Walz and Jacob Fry when it comes to Minneapolis. If they were able to show some type of leadership and provide crowd control, Renee Good and Alex Preddy would still be here. Y'all would still be protesting and upset about ICE, but at least 2 Americans will still be here.
That's what they're doing. Chuck Schumer and the Senate Democrats play games with government funding. Now, listen, the president obviously has reached out to state and local officials in the state of Minnesota. The events there have been tragic and unnecessary. He's made clear his desire to de-escalate the situation and to support an honest investigation of what's occurred there. We now have Tom Homan in charge of operations there, and he's an extraordinary leader. He has 40 years experience. He's highly decorated, has worked in Democrat and Republican administrations, and knows what he's doing. And there's more order being brought to the chaos. Now, I want to hasten to say that the chaos is because, in large measure, the local and state officials in Minnesota have not been participating with federal law enforcement operations.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, they're not participating in federal law enforcement operations. They're not providing crowd control. to keep these protesters out. I mean, they're not giving any type of assistance to help catch these illegal immigrants quicker, to get ICE out of there faster. They're not doing anything. But here we are blaming ICE as if, it couldn't have been, like, as if there isn't anything else that the Democrats could do to help. I'm be honest with you. They don't want to help. They don't want to help. And they want it to get this bad, and they want ICE to make mistakes so they can sit there and flip it to you how ICE is just this evil, like, sect of police officers want to go out there and harm you. And they don't. No, what's making this bad in Minnesota is the fact that, yeah, Jacob Fry did not want to bring the local police to either help ICE or to protect the protesters. Tim Walz don't want to bring in the National Guard to help ICE or just to protect the protesters. They could do both or just do one, and then it made a world of difference. And 2 people would still be alive today.
And they've created a dangerous situation there, and that is really a big part of the problem here. The White House and the Senate continued in good faith. They've agreed to separate the Homeland Security funding bill, and that's fine. So we have 2 weeks now to negotiate in good faith on both sides. The White House and Senate Democrats are going to engage in that, but the House Republicans are as well. We have to make sure we maintain.
And guys, please tell me how I'm the bootlicker here when you guys are the one going out and licking the concrete. You're out there licking ICE boots the way they putting y'all asses on the ground. We're just trying to keep y'all safe and tell y'all, look, don't go out there and obstruct, and maybe you should hold your leadership accountable. But we're the bootlickers? I mean, y'all going out there to lick the pavement in ICE officers' boots. Are y'all sure y'all want to get into that conversation? You sure you want to start calling people bootlickers when y'all the pavement lickers right now?
The important parameters here. We can't go down the road of amnesty. You can't, in any way, lighten the enforcement requirement of federal immigration law. That's what the American people demand and deserve. We want dangerous illegal criminals to be sent out of the country, and they've been very successful at that. But these negotiations are going to go forward. If the Democrats do insist on keeping the government shut down, their pointless obstruction is going to have no effect on border security, which we have done, we've secured, or immigration enforcement. As has been noted by the leaders here this morning, we did fund ICE operations for a few years now. So what they'll be shutting.
Guys, and I just want to remember, guys, remember, every time they call you guys a bootlicker, I just want to let you guys know, just show them this. You guys remember this? You guys remember when this white lady literally got down and kissed Jasmine Crockett's shoes? But we're the bootlickers, though? Hold on. Do y'all not remember this embarrassing moment right here? I mean, I ain't never got down and licked no politician's shoes, kissed no politician's shoes, but I mean, this one of your own right here. Right here, bro. And she says, yes, I did kiss Jasmine Crockett's sneakers. And I loved it. She said she loved it, guys. But we're the bootlickers? I mean, y'all out here kissing shoes right now. Bro, she kissed the hands. Boy, and then went straight to boot licking. Really sneaker licking. Maybe that's what we should call y'all, some sneaker lickers. Because I mean, them are some expensive sneakers she licking right there. So we're the bootlickers? Huh. I mean, oh no, one photo. Oh, please show me a photo of somebody doing that to Donald Trump. Maybe this whole bootlicker thing might just be the biggest cope and projection we'd have never seen. But guys, remember, every time they call you a bootlicker, just send your favorite liberal friend this right here and be like, you sure? You sure about that, buddy? I mean, please find me a Trump supporter doing that. Oh, you can't, because y'all are the real bootlickers. Boy, one of these politicians, bro, AOC coming in front of your ass, bro, and you licking them heels.
Down, don't lose this. What they'll be shutting down is FEMA operations as we're cleaning up from the winter storms.
I have the nerve to say that.
TSA, which is obviously necessary to keep the country moving through our airports. Coast Guard operations. I mean, so many important functions in the Department of Homeland Security is what will be adversely affected by these partisan games. Let's hope and pray that they don't do that. Let's hope that over the next 2 weeks we can negotiate and get this done. They say they want a real negotiation with President Trump and Republicans over immigration enforcement policy, and we are happy to have that debate. And I've said in a gaggle earlier this morning that what must be a part of that discussion is the participation of blue cities in federal immigration enforcement. you can't go to a sanctuary city and pretend like the law doesn't apply there. It does. And so we're going to be working through all that. Our chairwoman McLean talked about tax filing made easy. Last week marked the beginning of tax season, and millions of American families are working through that right now. And they're recognizing the amount of time and money spent complying with the federal tax code is going to be significantly reduced this year because of great Republican policy. Some of the things we did in the Working Families Tax Cuts, the big, beautiful bill, obviously, we intended to cut taxes and to advance America First pro-growth policies, but we also sought to reduce the tax burden on Americans, and because we know that reforming the tax system isn't just about reducing rates, it's also about reducing the paperwork and the compliance burden on Americans. And you heard these stats, I'll repeat them, but they're going to save Americans 210 million hours per year in paperwork and $13 billion in compliance costs. That's real money to real people, and we're proud of that. Nobody likes paying taxes. Okay, but Republicans have reduced the amount you owe and made your returns significantly easier to file. And so we're so grateful everyone's going to be able to take advantage of that. Last thing I just want to mention, and we'll take questions. I don't think the American people need any more evidence. The Democrats want to tax the American people to death. Just check Congress.
Hey, shout out to my man, Martin Clever. He ain't had too much to say. Just want to show some support. I appreciate that, my brother. Well, guys, you have any questions, comments, jokes, or disagreements? I'll be happy to read out loud and engage with it. Just $2 and up. And if not, man, just go ahead and double tap that screen and like the video, guys. Appreciate it.
Congress.gov, you can see all the bills they filed. But if they did, they should look no further than the Democrat-run D.C. Council's decision. Listen to this: to decouple the local tax code from specific federal tax provisions. So, in layman's terms, what they're trying to do here, any Democrat-run city is going to lead into this kind of nonsense, but they're preventing DC residents from experiencing the full benefits of the Working Families Tax Cuts bill. It's almost unimaginable that they would inflict that pain upon their own constituents, but that's what they're doing. DC is not alone.
What you mean? Trump bring down gas prices and they put taxes on gas. I mean, Trump try to bring down prices and they give you more taxes to pay, more sales taxes and all that. I mean, bro, Trump tried to create opportunity for everybody, and they're talking about, oh, well, I'm talking about Virginia here, and they're talking about, well, if you're a white contractor, you're no longer getting government contracts. We're going to give it to the women and the minorities. It's like, who are going to charge us more, by the way? So it's not that like they're even getting a better deal. They're just being, well, prejudiced, or you could say racist for no reason. It is what it is. So, yeah, no, Democrats, they shoot themselves in the foot when it comes to affordability. I mean, if you're voting for a Democrat on the guidelines of affordability, bro, God bless your heart, because you're screwing yourself. I mean, look what happened in Virginia.
And this obstruction. You've got strongholds, Democrat strongholds like New York and Colorado and Illinois, cities there, preventing their residents from enjoying these benefits. There's no way to spin it. Blue state governors intentionally harming their own residents just because the policies were offered by.
Yeah, literally. And here's the thing, though. Like I said, I'm going to take you to this website real quick. It's a pretty fun website, guys. You should go ahead and find and test it out. It's called My Life Elsewhere. MyLifeElsewhere.com, right? And I like to do this. I like kind of be a dickhead and compare blue states affordability to red states. And when I went to compare was Ohio and Virginia. Why? Because Virginia, you know, they just got this new Democratic mayor. She ran on affordability, but here's how that worked out. This is cost of living right now. Virginia is 23% more expensive than Ohio. In Virginia, they pay 30% more in groceries than I do. 30% more in housing, basically rent and all that good stuff, than I do. If I had a kid, they'd be paying 50% more than me in childcare. If I go out to a restaurant, they're paying 17% more than me. And this is across the board. I mean, bro, what you want to do? Put in New York? That'd be terrible. New York is twice as bad. New Jersey, twice as bad. Please name your favorite blue state and compare it to a red one. They're always more expensive every single time. It's a pattern, and it's sick that people even vote for people on Democrats on affordability, but they literally run the most unaffordable places.
Republican administration. I mean, that's what's happening. And it's just incredible to us. Is there any stronger evidence that Republicans are the party of affordability? Democrats say one thing and they do completely the opposite. And I'm so sad for you if you live in one of those jurisdictions. It's a real problem. If this act were to become local law, DC residents would be prevented from claiming no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, increased standard deduction, and so much more. It's just wrong. There's an estimated 17,000 tipped workers here in the nation's capital, and the D.C. City Council is attempting to prevent them from enjoying this historic tax benefit. But House Republicans are going to work to fix it this week. We will advance Representative Gill's legislation.
See, bro, and it's stupid comments like this is like you are, well, you mean wrong, but you said one across the board. So it's kind of crazy how you're trying to correct me when you can't spell wrong correctly. But it is what it is, though. I'll still show you grace. He said the pattern is that they make more money. Are you dumb? Are you dumb? You're dumb. No, you're literally dumb. You want to know how they make more money than red states? Because they tax your dumb ass more. If they lowered taxes, let's be real. If they lowered taxes to the same amount as a red state, that means they'd be probably pulling in about the same as a red state. And of course, of course, if you want to take up population as well. So all you're proving is that one, there's more people there, and two, they tax your dumbasses more. That's why y'all pulling so much money, because they're literally stripping your pockets, and you're proud of it. I've never met a group of people literally proud to have the money yanked out of their pockets. Like, but hey, man, welcome to the Dems of America.
To disapprove of that nonsense at the D.C. Council, because every American deserves to enjoy the benefits of the Republicans' historic tax cuts, even if you live in a Democrat stronghold. Take a couple questions. Yep. Hang on. Bill, go ahead.
Oh, no, I just like pull it.
Are you confident you have the votes for this bill to pass, and do you expect any?
And shout out to my man Jet. He says, video in general chat, these the Dems who say they not racist. Got you.
I don't, and this may be hard for some of y'all to believe, but I never doubted this. This was not this was not my preferred route. I wanted to keep all 6 bills together. We worked so hard to pass them through the House, and I thought that should have been a package that sailed through the Senate, got to the president's desk, so we can fund government responsibly.
Oh,
we're spending less money year over year, and we're
Monty, my bad, brother, my bad. I just seen it. He says, funny how when a centrist leans right, they get all of they get all of the racist and homophobic names from the party that virtue signals tolerance. I know, right? Like they start doubting if I'm black. I get all the homophobic names, all this crazy stuff, all because, well, I disagree. I'm like, that's crazy. That's absolutely wild. But it is what it is, though. I mean, y'all really think that's like a sane way to go about life? You know, just vilify or demonize anybody that disagrees with you? I don't think I don't think mentally you're all the way there if you're doing all that. But that's just me.
Returning regular order around here, and that's a commitment I made when I became speaker, and we're finally getting it done. But listen, the president agreed with Schumer that they would separate Homeland, and we'll do that, and we'll handle it. We're going to pass the rule today. It was never in doubt to me. The Republicans are going to do the responsible thing. I did talk to Hakeem Jeffries over the weekend, and he informed me that they would not be assisting in this endeavor. And I just think that's crazy. I mean, I just think that everybody needs to look at what's happening here. One party is moving forward, by the way, with the smallest margin in U.S. history. We now have a 1-vote margin. We are still sticking together. The Republican Party is sticking together because the stakes are so high. We're governing responsibly, and we're getting the job done. And Democrats, all they do every single day here is obstruct. And you can see the record for itself. They shut the government down for 43 days, the longest in history, just last fall, and they want to do it again.
Yep.
And it's just crazy. And I think the American people are
No,
going to.
here's the worst thing. Not only do they want to do it again, because it's funny, because last time they did it, they didn't get anything they wanted. But not only do they want to do it again, they want to shut down, they want to like defund all of DHS because of ICE. And here's the problem. You're probably thinking, like, said, what you mean? ICE is under DHS. Yeah, but the Republicans kind of ensured that ICE will be funded all the way throughout 2026. So they can't touch that funding. It's already sent out. They already got it. It's too late. You can't defund ICE. They already got their money, okay, for salaries and all that for the year. Now, the problem with them is that, all right, so since we can't take on ICE or we can't defund them, we'll just defund all of DHS. I'm like, wow. And that's childish, because you're literally trying to punish them because you can't punish the group that you want. So you're just going to punish everybody that's aligned with them or that falls under the DHS umbrella. But ICE. Pathetic. But that's what they're doing.
Think about this hard. When they go to the voting box and to the ballot box in the fall, and we decide who keeps the majority in Congress, I think they're going to give it to the grown-ups. I think the Republicans will be able to continue and grow our majority to keep governing. Otherwise, what Democrats will give you is chaos. shutdowns. They'll shut down the federal government. They keep proving it to you over and over. So take them at their word. Jake,
that's true.
So Jeffries told you he wasn't going to help with this. Did Schumer represent something different to you in your conversations with the president? Because it seems that there's a disconnect here. It's hard to square.
It is hard to square, and it's not my place to get involved in their family squabble. But I mean, I think Hakeem has made very clear I think he was offended that Chuck Schumer presumed to speak for House Democrats. So you'll have to figure that out. The Democrats are in a family squabble over there, and it's not of our doing. Well, hold on, wait a minute. Schumer and Jeffries are from the same state. They're in the same delegation, and they seem to be having a little power struggle between the two of them. So look, I'm not trying to fuel that. You asked me the question. I don't know what's going on, but I can tell you the Republicans are united, and I'm proud of that. And this is the party that is getting the job done. So, yes, ma'am. Second row, yes, ma'am.
You're a constitutional lawyer. Can you detail the Fourth Amendment protections and rights someone has if an ICE agent approaches their home with an administrative warrant?
How much time do you have?
Yeah, right. Let me say this. Okay, so when ICE goes to execute a warrant, it's an administrative warrant, and it's issued by an immigration judge. And that is a sufficient legal authority to go and apprehend someone. They have violated the law. They crossed over our border illegally, and they're here and without any right to be here. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. This is, hey man, shout out my man Jet, bro. I'm glad you found this because this is real. This is real, and this is how most leftists operate. Like, bro, it's like, trust me, if you're not on their side, you're all of a sudden a house, and well, I'm just gonna say, all of a sudden you're a house nigger. All of a sudden, you are now a house nigger because what? Oh, you dare to have conservative views or lean just a little bit to the right on things. I mean, like, here's the thing. I mean, do you even know what that was referencing towards? Like, if anybody is the house N-words, it's you guys. You guys are promoting everything that keeps us on the plantation of the Democratic Party. All their policies have destroyed our communities, caused more crime, high drug use. Oh, yes, heavy amounts of abortion. So who's the real house N-word again? It's kind of crazy. I'm speaking for what? The benefit of my people. And y'all are literally speaking towards the destruction of my people. And we shared a skin color. That's the worst part. We share a skin color, and these guys speak like this. I'm talking about the black liberals. Now, the white liberals, y'all really should know better. But I mean, how do y'all have black friends when you can sit there and call a black conservative the N-word? How do y'all do that? How do y'all reconcile yourselves like that? Because you know, if you said that in front of your black liberal friend, he'd slap the shit out of you, right? And you would take it like a bitch. So what's all this newfound courage towards the conservative blacks? Because we'll do the same thing to you if you did it to our face. But you won't.
Like we should rip people energy. Like we should rip people apart from their families. Are you a man?
Wow.
Wow, is that a question?
Wow.
Okay. How do you feel about ripping people from their families? Does that feel good?
Fucking house nigga in here.
Huh? Sir, I need to move.
Fucking house nigga, where's you put the fucking KKK in here?
Sir, I need to move.
Fucking house nigga, where's you put the fucking KKK? What's wrong with you people?
Why are you calling a woman a man?
Right.
I mean, what kind of a guy?
Why are you calling a woman a man? Wait, where'd y'all try to call like little boys, little girls? Like, isn't that y'all thing? Why are you calling a woman a man? He's like, bro, he didn't even say that. He said, bro, are you a man? That's a reasonable question. Once you see, bro, it's like, hold on.
Energy. Like we should rip people apart from their families. Are you a man?
Wow.
Wow, is that a question?
Wow.
Okay. How do you feel about ripping people from their families? Does that feel good?
Fucking house nigga in here.
Sir, I need to move.
Fucking house nigga, where's you put the fucking KKK?
Yep. And you see where the lies of the left kind of get out of hand because what do they tell you? Oh, well, the KKK works for ICE. The Proud Boys, like Nazis, are working for ICE when that's not true. They got a black guy right here, but y'all won't sit there and be like, okay, maybe there might be a lie going on. Why would a black guy work with a whole bunch of KKK members? I mean, bro, how stupid are you guys to think that just because we have conservative values, now we're at Klan rallies? It kind of shows how really uneducated you guys are about things because you know who the Klan are, right? So why would they even want to associate with us in that manner? Actually, here's the thing. The Klan would even go to ICE because there's Mexicans there and blacks. The Klan don't go wherever minorities are at. If you had any knowledge, you would know that. You would realize how dumb that sounds. And then also, it's like, really? So if they're working with ICE and they're minority, now they're a house nigger. Now now they're working with the KKK. You see how extreme you guys sound, and you have no proof. But WikiLeaks, Doc, WikiLeaks, no proof, no nothing, just fake WikiLeaks docs that you guys are taking at face value.
What's wrong with you people?
Why are you calling a woman a man?
I
mean, what kind of a guy does that?
Hey, I like you.
Like we should rip people apart from their families.
Are you? We might call her a man again. Like, what type of man calls what type of man calls a woman a man? I mean, shoot, a confused one. I'm confused. What can I say? Weren't y'all confused too when y'all looked at her? Because I know I was. I didn't know if that was a woman or a man.
That's what's happening now. The controversy has erupted where if someone is, they're going to be apprehended and they run behind a closed door and lock the door. I mean, what is ICE supposed to do? What is Immigration Customs Enforcement supposed to do at that point? Oh, gee whiz, they locked the door. I mean, I guess we'll just go on to our. I mean, so there's some logic and reason that is to be applied here. Some have complained that the force has been excessive or what have you. I don't know. We're going to figure that out. It's part of the discussion over the next couple of weeks. I tell you what the Democrats want to do and what we cannot do, and that is they want to add an entirely new layer of warrant requirement. Okay, they want to have a judicial warrant on top of the immigration judge warrant. And we can't do that. Just think of it logically, okay? You've got maybe 20 million illegals who came across the border just in the last 4 years when the Biden-Harris administration opened the border wide, okay? Imagine if we had to go through the process of getting a judicial warrant, an additional warrant to go and apprehend people who we know are here illegally. How much time would that take? We don't have enough judges. We don't have enough time. It would take decades probably to do that.
Yeah.
The people who are
That's why we have something called expedited removal. I mean, if you've been here for what, less than 2 years, you are now eligible for expedited removal. You get no court date, you get no lawyer, but you do get sent back home to where you came from. And for some reason, the Dems are over here trying to, stop that or try to make us put them all through court cases, but not all of them are eligible to go through the immigration court. Not all of them are eligible to go out there and get a court date with a lawyer. Actually, some of them are eligible for expedited removal. And that's what the Dems are trying to stop because, there's really nothing they can do to fight it. And they want to say there's no due process, but expedited removal is their due process, like it or not.
For that, don't want any immigration enforcement. They do not want anybody to be sent out of the country here illegally.
Nope.
And that is blatantly what their cause is. So we've got to apply reason. We do have to apply the Constitution. We have to respect it. And those parameters need to be determined. But I can tell you that we are never going to go along with adding an entirely new layer of judicial warrants because it is unimplementable. It cannot be done, and it should not be done, and it's not necessary. Yes, ma'am. Hey.
Thank you. Good morning. In 2023, I remember this. You chaired a hearing after the FBI had that raid on Mark Hug, the pro-life mother.
Yep.
And that was something that I think to this day Republicans say was a problem in the use of force by this government.
Yeah.
My question now is, we understand ICE's legitimate purpose, but we've seen guns drawn on Americans who have not necessarily protesters. We've seen people pulled out of their houses, to your point about the warrants. Do you think ICE needs to change, and CBP, any of their tactics, given what your concerns about civil liberties from the past?
I have great faith and trust in the leadership of Homeland Security and Tom Homan in particular, who's now in charge in Minnesota. He brings 40 years experience to this. He's very measured. We all believe that immigration policy ought to be balanced and strategic and smart. And it obviously needs to comply with the law. And I'm going to leave it to the experts to determine what that is. I think in the negotiation, I think we've got to remove the politics. We've got to look at what the Constitution says, what federal immigration law says. And if anybody wants to adjust immigration law, then that's why we're here in the legislative branch. But we need it we need that approach. We need the temperature turned down. That's the president's words. And you need a steady hand at the wheel. I think Tom Homan is a great guy to
I
do
mean,
that.
yeah, stop calling ICE Gestapo. Stop saying that, oh, they're all KKK members and Proud Boys, because that's not true. I mean, yeah, that's all you got to do is turn down the temperature and stop lying about ICE.
Yes, sir.
Maybe tell the truth a little bit.
I just want to circle back on the judicial warrant situation. Can you just explain to me why we're talking about adding additional requirements? That adding a judicial warrant is adding an additional requirement to this process. I mean, immigration advocacy groups for years have said, don't open the door for immigration agents without a signed warrant from a judge. ICE's own field manual says entering a home without a warrant is typically a violation of the Fourth Amendment. How is this raising requirement? Isn't this the MO for how things normally work?
No, I mean, look, the question is to the Democrats who are ringing the bells and saying that they're trying to make this one of their demands in this negotiation. That's what I'm told. Some of them have. And I'm saying that is a road that we cannot and should not go down. And to your point, ICE, for many years, obviously, has had in the manuals that you follow the Fourth Amendment restrictions and you do this in a meaningful and thoughtful way. But we have an unprecedented level of opposition and pushback. When you have local and state officials informing their citizens that they should impede the immigration, customs, and enforcement operations, it creates a dangerous situation, and that's what's led to all this chaos. If the governors and the mayors in the blue cities and states would participate with federal law enforcement, we wouldn't even be having these conversations. I mean, you would have a much smoother process, I think. So, look, we're going to have all these discussions over the next couple of weeks. We will figure out a path through this, but we have to enforce our immigration law. The American people made that the number one issue in the last election. The wide open border and the chaos that ensued because of it was the number one issue. The president got to work. We used the existing law that was on the books, as we always said, as I said, for 4 years under the Biden administration could have happened, and we closed the border tight. In just a couple of months, we've had almost zero illegals released into the country since President Trump took over. Strong leadership. And the next commitment was, as we said to the American people, we will get the dangerous criminal illegals out of the country. And that's what they've been doing. And for anybody to impede that, they are impeding the will of the American people. They are creating a more dangerous situation on our streets, and it has to stop. So stay tuned for the rest of this. We'll get into the details of it. I'm just telling you that adding a whole new layer of judicial warrant requirements is an unworkable proposal. And I think the people who are making that suggestion understand that. I don't think they want anyone to be apprehended and sent out of the country. So we have to see how it goes. Yeah, thank you.
Is there a question about elections?
I don't know about that. All right, though. Let's go ahead and get over to the next video here. Now, let me see if this Colombian Prime Minister actually came out and said something. All right, now. Now, I do want to touch on something real quick. Shout out to our guy, Don't Walk, Run Production, because apparently Don Lemon is heading to federal prison. And you know what? I'll cover this one good time. Came out about a day ago, so I'll cover this one good time. And shout out my man Monty. Hitting us with the 2. He says, watch this S.E.T. 7 more years. Now, let's see here.
This is Don Lemon, the former CNN anchor turned independent journalist. 12 days after live streaming a protest at City's Church in Minneapolis, Minnesota, Don Lemon was arrested for his alleged participation. Here's Don Lemon's attorney, Abby Lowell.
So he lives in New York. It's not Minneapolis. He's going to Los Angeles to do his job, which is to cover, in this case, the Grammys this weekend. They wait until he's in Los Angeles. That's not enough. They waited until 11:30 at night when he was coming back for doing what he does in the lobby of a hotel.
Gee, why didn't they arrest him when it was more convenient for Don Lemon? Damn you, Donald Trump!
It's bad enough that magistrate judges turned you down when you tried to file charges against them earlier. It's bad enough that you tried to appeal it and you got turned down again, and you had to go for a third try, and Lord knows what you did to conjure up the charges to justify you arresting this man in Beverly Hills.
Conjure up? I mean, nah, he just took it to a grand jury, and that was it. I mean, he got the indictment. That's all he had to do. He had to take it to a jury of his peers and be like, hey, this look guilty to you. They said, okay, and great. We can now indict him. That's all they needed. That's all they needed, bro, was a grand jury indictment. I'm sorry, bro. That's all they needed. Like, nothing else, nothing more. That they could, yes, they can go around the judge, but if they can get a jury to indict him, it is what it is.
While he was working the Grammys, by the way.
Oh no! Not Don Lemon's Grammy coverage. Whatever will we do without it? But don't worry. After Lemon's arrest, he was invited to the Grammys as a guest, along with his white husband. As far as the protest case goes, a grand jury ultimately found that there was enough cause to arrest Lemon. And of course, the method of that arrest was criticized.
And not one, not two, not three, but the bevy of agents surround and take him away. Don thought he was being mugged because he has been controversial, and he actually thought some crazy people on the right might be stalking him.
He thought he was being mugged by a bevy of agents with FBI written in giant yellow letters under it.
And this is why we don't believe you liberals when they say ICE put up on us unidentified. I couldn't tell who they were, man. Shut your lying ass up, bro. Because not even Don Lemon is using the same lie. Well, I thought I was getting mugged by a bunch of guys in FBI jackets or by a bunch of guys in like tactical uniform. Like, I'm sorry, but no, you didn't. You knew what was going on. And that's the problem. It's like when you allow libs to sit here and lie and say, oh, I couldn't tell if that was an ICE officer or not. I couldn't tell if that was FBI. Bro, stop the cap, bro. Please stop the bullshit. We are smarter than that. I'm telling you that right now. Nobody's believing you. So please.
The cap. Breakers? Yeah, sure. And of course, Don Lemon finds a way to cast himself as the victim of a right-wing conspiracy, all while being handcuffed for his own documented actions. Anyway, Don Lemon was quickly released without bail and held a press conference.
Last night, the DOJ sent a team of federal agents to arrest me in the middle of the night for something that I've been doing for the last 30 years, and that is covering the news. The First Amendment of the Constitution protects that work for me and for countless of other journalists who do what I do.
Notice the whole middle of the night framing. It was 11:30 p.m. in Los Angeles during Grammy week. That's basically happy hour for media elites. And Lemon's I'm a martyr for democracy speech was high on drama and low on truth and facts, perfectly tailored for an MS Now highlight reel, just like the following clip of journalist Georgia Fort, who was also arrested for her participation in the storming of the church.
Well, this is really scary. There's kids in the house. You guys have not been really friendly in the community. And to me, this seems a little, can I finish, sir? Can I finish? Can I finish? Get your phone. This seems a little bit aggressive to have all these cars in our cul-de-sac, 2 or 3 agents, and now I saw the one disappear to the back. So to me, this is a little aggressive to just serve a warrant.
It's funny how she had a whole Karen moment. Like, anybody notice that? This woman is literally, bro, lady, you broke a law. They're outside to arrest your ass. You've been going like, well, look, you're not doing this nicely enough, and you're disturbing our neighbors, and I have 3 children in here, and you guys could have been nicer about this. I'm like, woman, step your ass outside. You're going to jail. What are you talking about? You're cooked. Now you're going to jail.
Watching, I would say that is more than a little aggressive myself. She has kids in the house. They're serving a war. Why does that need to happen? Why is that how it's being done? It's terrifying. Of course it is.
What? What? I'm sorry. That is so funny, though. It's like, bro, y'all treat yourselves as if you're above average citizens. You ever notice how they kind of act like if they're above average citizens, if they're above approach? Like, I'm sorry, but if you break a law like an average citizen, you're going to get arrested and pulled up on like an average citizen. They're like, what, you think they should have treated her differently? Like, why they did it when the kids are there? Well, we supposed to wait till the dad comes up on the weekends to arrest her? Like, what?
You can't serve an arrest warrant when kids are in the house. What did Jen Psaki expect, a singing telegram?
I leave this federal courthouse today with one question.
Do we have a constitution?
Or not.
Do we have a constitution? That is the pressing question that should be on the front of everyone's mind.
So the journalist who trampled on the constitutional rights of churchgoers asks ironically, do we have a constitution? F***ing clown world. So Don Lemon, Georgia Fort, and the rest of the protesters were charged with one count of conspiracy against right of religious freedom at a place of worship.
Which they did. I mean, let's be real. Don Lemon tried to act like he didn't know, but he knew. And then let's be real. He could have sat outside and said, well, y'all going into the church? Whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm not doing that. I will stay out here. And he could have not gotten involved in that protest. But his ass walked in there with the rest of them, just like that young light-skinned lady did as well. And they end up getting charged because of it. Why? Because they were basically participating in the protests. I mean, I know Don Lemon was out there trying to talk to people inside the church, but he was disturbing the church. He was disturbing a place of worship, trying to get in the pastor's face while he's trying to bring order to his congregation. Can't do that when you have a camera and mic in your face and Don Lemon is just leaning in on your ass. Pretty hard to do.
And one count of injuring, intimidating, and interfering with exercise of right of religious freedom at place of worship.
On what basis does this...
And guys, if you don't know the law that he broke the FACE Act. Like, guys, you are not allowed to coerce or intimidate people at a place of worship. Now, Don Lemon going in there and, I'm gonna be real with you, getting in their face, these people protesting, getting in their face, recording them, that could be seen as intimidation or coercion not to practice your freedom of speech because you're going to be afraid that crazy liberals are just going to pull up every day just to scream in your face. That's why you can't do that, because you're violating their First Amendment rights. And that's what Don Lemon was doing with those churchgoers, violating their First Amendment rights of freedom of religion by going in there and intimidating them and seeing and maybe coercing them not to practice their religion. But really, though, it's really they were shaming them because, oh, well, how could you approve of this as a Christian? Look what ICE is doing, bro. Shut up. Shut up. That's outside of what's going on. You're trying to get mad at Christians for what? Not going out there and getting themselves shot for ICE? Like, please spare us. But yeah, though, it's the FACE Act. It's a federal law prohibiting the use of force, threat of force, or physical obstruction to injure, intimidate, or interfere with anyone obtaining or providing, well, whoops, my bad, that's freedom. Whoops, FACE Act. Whoops, wrong one. But anyone, there we go. But anyone expressing their freedom of speech or freedom of religion. I mean, right there. And I know people want to say the Klan Act as well. I mean, you can also throw the Klan Act in there if you want to, but it's mainly that. Like, you can't just go in there to a person's place of worship and just start protesting disruption. You can go in there, and sit down quietly and worship with them, and nobody's gonna have a problem with that. You can sit out there and protest outside the church. Nobody's gonna have a problem with that. But once you step in there protesting, disrupting, yeah, you crossed the line there, buddy. You crossed the line.
Administration conclude that these two were participants and not journalists. There's no law. There's no set definition. Each says they were reporting. Each has a history and pattern of reporting. Both have reported and announced themselves as such consistently before, during, and after the church event.
Well, for starters, Chris Cuomo, the indictment makes the case that Lemon and Fort crossed the line between journalist and participant. Over Act number 6. During a discussion with defendant Nikema Levy-Armstrong at the pre-op briefing, defendant Lemon thanked defendant Armstrong for what she was doing and assured her that he was not saying what's going on.
And that's why they went there. No, this guy's right. There was an ICE agent who goes to that church, and that's why they started razzing that church. Do you see what I mean? Why ICE officers wear masks? Dog, you just proved my point. Thank you. Thank you. This is why they wear masks, because you will dox them and you will go harass people around them. Thank you for proving my point. Oh my God, bro, wherever you are, you're a dumbass, but thank you for proving my point that you guys will go and harass other people just off them being connected to an ICE officer. And you're wondering why they're wearing masks. Like, it should be that simple. Like, look what bro just said. Look what they just did. This is why they wear ice masks. And I mean, bro, God and his job and God has two completely different things, bro. You can't sit there and try to fuse into Christian religion with law, because law and religion are never going to go hand in hand. It just is what it is. There's a reason why we have a separation of church and state, because if we're going by the church to represent the state or the laws, it's not going to be fair for everybody. And I'm gonna be real with you. I'm gonna be real with you guys. It's just not going to be fair, and it's not going to be the democracy or the constitutional republic that we know. Well, constitutional republic, not a democracy.
i.e. was not disclosing the target of the operation.
Okay.
How are you?
Good.
To see you. We're on. We're not saying what it is, what's going on, but thank you.
Defendant Armstrong explained that Operation Pull-Up was a clandestine operation in which she and other agitators would show up somewhere that is a key location where the targets don't expect us, and we disrupt business as usual. That's what we're about to go do right now.
This is Operation Pull Up, more of a clandestine operation. We show up somewhere that is a key location. They don't expect us to come there, and then we disrupt business as usual. So that's what we're about to go do right now.
I mean, you know, it's crazy. I think she says she's a lawyer and a priest. So a lawyer and a priest should have known better than to walk into a church, which would be violating the FACE Act and protesting in there. It's like you walked into a church and started protesting and disturbing, and that's a violation of the FACE Act, not actually walking in. So sorry about that. But yeah, and she's a lawyer and a priest. And this is what she said, came out of her own mouth. So how do you make a mistake like this? Don Lemon, you've been in the game for years. You should have known this was bad, like decades, and you did this dumbass shit? Crazy.
And Defendant Lemon said he would see her there.
How long do you think before this operation before it takes place?
We got to go now.
All right, let's go ahead and catch up to the super chat. Sorry, guys. Shout out to my man Hellbad. How many people see the lawsuit by a detransitioner in New York that has so far been successful? It's most likely going to appeals, but it's estimated 1.6 million. Hey man, whoever that detransitioner is, they're in my prayers, man. They better get their money. Shout out to Jet. He got a white boy. He said he got a white boy should know how to act with feds. Yep, that's also true. And damn, shout out my man Mons. He said, damn, Tylenol Americans. Damn. Tylenol Americans.
Let's go.
All right, thank you.
We'll see you there.
Overt act number 7. Before heading to the church to join his co-conspirators, Defendant Lemon advised his live stream audience that we're going to head to the operation. Again, we're not going to give any information away, i.e. operational details that would disclose where he and his co-conspirators were heading.
So we're going to go to the operation again. We're not going to give any of the information away.
Now, to a normal person, that sounds like a co-conspiracy media. That's a standard operating procedure. In fact, CNN's Dana Bash actually tried to compare Don Lemon helping a group of agitators sneak into a church to a military journalist embedding with the troops. I'm not kidding.
There are countless examples of when reporters are embedded with people with, DOD, where we are told not to tell anybody where we're going. There are numerous examples of when we get embargoed information that we can't report from your agency, for example, and that has happened on with presidents in both parties, and we withhold reporting it until you say it's time to report it. That's not unusual, and it's not unlike what happened with Don Lemon and Georgia Ford.
Oh, Dana, there's a massive legal and ethical canyon between a military embargo and what Don Lemon was doing. Yeah. When a reporter embeds with the military, they are keeping secrets to protect the lives of soldiers from enemy fire. What Don Lemon was doing was keeping secrets to protect his fellow agitators. Overt act number 5. Lemon took steps to maintain operational secrecy by reminding certain co-conspirators to not disclose the target of the operation.
without giving away what the operation is. Why are you out here? Thank you. You're on right now, just so you know. But so don't give anything away. No.
Lemon stepped away momentarily so his mic would not accidentally divulge certain portions of the planning session.
I turned our camera off of them because they're giving some critical information here.
So basically, the government is accusing Don Lemon of conspiring with the protesters. He knew the details ahead of time, and he kept them a secret.
We can't say too much. We don't want to give it up.
If you're a journalist, your job is to report the who, what, where, and when. But Don was treating it like a surprise party for his husband. If you're actively concealing the location of a crime to ensure that it succeeds, you're not a reporter, you're a lookout.
So on Saturday, I posted a flyer about this action with no details other than show up at the Cub Foods parking lot if you want to participate.
So, wait.
Saturday night,
y'all did this in the name of Martin Luther King, a Christian whose past is a bit shaky, but let's just go with the original story. A well-to-do Christian, and y'all went in there and y'all disturbed a whole bunch of other Christians. And then that's so crazy to me. It's like, bro, y'all don't see where that's wrong. Y'all don't see where disturbing other churchgoers. I mean, you wouldn't want nobody to go into your church and do that, but all of a sudden you think it's okay to go up in their church because of what? Your political ideology, because you hate ICE so much, you think that it's okay to what? Go up in an ICE officer church and violate their freedom of speech? Like, do you see where you guys went a bit too far now? To the point where you're willing to violate other people's privacy, freedom of speech, rights, just because of ICE? Just because you disagree with what ICE is doing? I mean, then you want to talk about Constitution. It's like, really?
I got a call from Don asking about this protest. And I said, listen, I can't reveal any information about this protest. He said he would be heading into town on Sunday. And I'm like, I have to treat you like everyone else. I cannot reveal any information about it because I don't want it to leak.
So Nikema Levy-Armstrong, the lead organizer of the protest, claims that she posted this flyer on Instagram, and Don Lemon just happened to see it and was like, give me the details, Nikema. Nikema was like, nope, can't tell you. And he was like, I'll be on the next flight to Minneapolis and I'll see you there. Yep, makes sense to me. What's your problem?
He didn't even know we were going to a church. That's what I'm trying to explain to you.
Okay.
I gave people an address and said, meet us here. And
you get... Hey guys, you know, when you put in an address, right, you put it inside your GPS, doesn't it pull up the building or what that address is? If it's a house, it will just say a house. If it's a place of business, it will tell you that place of business. If it's a church, it will tell you it's a fucking... Sorry, it will tell you it's a church. I'm sorry, but that's irritating. It's like, how dumb do you think people are? Like, really? Like, I sent them an address, and that's not really something. Like, you sent them the address. You know what that means? Don Lemon had the ability to look this address up, put it into Google Maps, and find out that it was a church. Easy as that. Like, really?
I am not going to tell you where we're going. You just have to meet us at this address, and when we get there, you'll know what the situation is.
Meet us at the address. So Nikema is claiming, yeah, I'm gonna meet you at the address, and this is what Don Lemon should have done. Yeah, I'm gonna meet you at the address. Great. Put the address into Google. Comes up as a church. I'm just calling like, whoa. Are we going like, well, what's up with this whole church thing? What y'all doing with the church? Oh, we'll be going inside of it and protesting in their face. Yeah, I can't do that. Cannot do that. Instead, you put the GPS. You put it in your GPS. It most likely told you it was a church. You pulled up to the church anyway and proceeded inside with them. There really is no escape for you, buddy. You're cooked.
That Don Lemon and the others were some sort of blind followers. But that doesn't hold up to scrutiny, because the moment they were provided that address and punched it into their smartphones, they'd know the location was a church. Ultimately, it doesn't matter if they knew details about it days in advance or 5 minutes prior. Because after finding out that the target was a church, they still walked in to disrupt a religious service.
That's the bottom line. Okay. I knew the church. I knew the name. I knew about David Easterwood, the ICE director, also serving as a pastor there. But he had no idea.
Okay.
That's it? That's your follow-up, Chris? Instead of any pushback, Chris...
Bro, Cuomo, really, bro? Cuomo, you know she guilty. Like, bro, she just said it right in your face. Like, they knew they were going into a church. They didn't care. Apparently, she's a lawyer and she forgot that that's illegal. But it is what it is. Let's hear it again. Let's hear it again. I love the self-snitching.
To disrupt a religious service.
That's the bottom line.
Okay.
I knew the church. I knew the name. I knew about David Easterwood, the ICE director, also serving as a pastor there. Guilty. That nigga is guilty. But he had no idea.
Okay.
Okay. That's it? That's your follow-up, Chris?
Okay.
Instead of any pushback.
Oh, you're just going into the church to violate people's freedom of speech? Okay.
Chris Cuomo just nods along like he's listening to a weather report.
He had no idea what we were going to do. I am a very tight-lipped person when it comes to my organizing. So no one, not a single person other than my co-organizers had any idea where we were going, what we were going to do. They didn't even know what was going to happen once we got inside the location. I waited for God.
She waited for God. Well, apparently God's plan involved violating federal law and disrupting a worship service. Funny how divine intervention always seems to align perfectly with whatever the radical left feels like doing. Or maybe she's going for an insanity defense. I don't know.
I don't like what happened at or inside that Minnesota church. I don't like the arrest of 2 journalists. I think it only makes the situation worse.
Worse for who? Cuomo's trying to frame this as a PR blunder by the DOJ, when in reality, it's a rare moment of the government actually enforcing the law equally.
We do know that the government is claiming that Don attended a pre-operational briefing before they entered the church.
Claiming? He's literally on tape attending that briefing.
Does that make him part of it?
Yes.
They say he tried to keep details about the protest secret on his live stream. I've seen the clip. It indicates that. That's a bad fact for him. It shows potential bias, bad judgment.
It's not just bad judgment. If a reporter embeds with a crime organization.
And shout out to my man Monty for sending 22 on Venmo, which is any support sent on Venmo is double. So that 22 is now 44. And I do believe, well, that's exactly what we had left. So shout out to my man Monty for opening up the call-in lines. And like I said, guys, any support sent to Venmo is double towards the call-in. Oh, and you guys can also hit the Venmo by scanning the QR code up there. If you ever wondered what that was for, well, that's what it was for. So shout out to my man Monty. I'm gonna go ahead and get this call-in line open now. Now, guys, this is, I do want some of you naysayers to come up here and debate me on. You could debate me on Don Lemon. You could debate me on Ice, Renee Good, and Alex Preddy. I'll be happy to hear you guys out. I'll give you guys the floor uninterrupted. I just want to hear y'all thoughts on this. I like hearing both sides out. So let's go ahead and get to it.
And live streams the bank robbery and tells their audience, I'm not going to tell you which bank because we don't want to give up the operation. You're not winning a Peabody. You're probably going to prison.
Bruh.
It's called being an accessory.
Would I have made the same choices that were made by Don at the church? No. I think there's a reason.
Enough said. No, bro, enough said. That's it. Would I have made the same choices as a journalist? No. Done. That's what you got to say, bro.
There was not more media inside, though they may have been outside. I think there's a reason this is the first time we've ever seen anything like this. I don't think I've ever worked anywhere that would have been okay with me going inside with people that I suspected intended to do something illegal.
And there it is. Even Chris Fredo Cuomo, the man who once coached his brother on how to dodge harassment scandals, admits that no legitimate news organization would touch this. When you're too unethical for Chris Cuomo, you haven't just crossed the line, you've left the atmosphere.
Right.
But in either instance,
across the line, man, bro, you done jumped over, hit it with a somersault at a certain point. It's like you just did not care.
It would still make me a journalist. It would probably make me a fired journalist if I did something that offended standard and practice at every place I've ever worked. Not agreeing with a journalist's choices, however, does not justify taking their freedom to report.
Wait, did you catch that? Cuomo admits that what Don Lemon did would get a reporter fired by any legitimate news organization. for violating basic standards. But then he leaps to the conclusion that the government is trying to take away his freedom to report. No one arrested Don Lemon for his choices as a journalist. They arrested him for his actions as a participant. He could face up to 11 years in prison for his crimes, but we all know that Don Lemon will never be convicted because no one is above the law or something.
I mean, bro, look, according to these FBI leakers, man, we ain't about to get a damn thing when it comes to deep state arrests, but we'll get into that a little bit later. In the meantime, go ahead and let's see here. No, actually, let me go ahead and leave you guys off on that video because, you know, I'm just such a nice guy. Such a nice guy. But all right. Shout out to my man, James O'Keefe. Go ahead and take a quick little break real quick. I'll be right back to bring in my man, Monty and Gaming. I see y'all there in the background. All right, here. Shout out to my man, Monty. If you ever hire me, I would really like my job title to be Master Debater and Chief Narrator and Chief Narrative Destroyer. I ain't gonna lie, Chief Narrative Destroyer is code. That is code. I am the Chief Narrative Destroyer. Like, bro, just come in with a binder full of information to destroy all the narratives. You got CNN and like ABC dudes shaking in their boots like, oh no, not him. All right. But let's get into my man, James O'Keefe, and then we're going to get into the Epstein situation, and I'll be right back. Whoops. Fast forward. Back.
Protests, reporting on what is happening and undercover. But we're here outside the City Hall, and we have been undercover inside the ICE protests, reporting on what is happening and who is behind them, looking at the different tables outside of City Hall. We even paid a visit to Skid Row downtown. They're having loud horns, loud noises so that they can disrupt anyone trying to communicate with each other. What we've uncovered out here is so scandalous, elaborate, and illegal that it's going to be a multiple-part series. I myself went undercover as a homeless person, reporting on the NGOs, reporting on what is happening all throughout the city of Los Angeles and Southern California. Stay tuned for that next week. Over the last few months, I've said that if arrests do not happen, if people are not held to account, then we'll have no choice but to investigate the investigators themselves, investigate the prosecutors themselves at every level.
And that's exactly what this man did.
We understand that incentives govern human behavior more than virtue does, and people are demanding that people be held accountable. People are reminding you that we're a nation of laws. But that only works if the people in government, if the people in power do the right thing. What we found out in Minnesota last week was that there was no laws, no incentive for law enforcement officers to do the right thing at all. In fact, the police left the area because it would be punishing for them to uphold the law. And we find that happening at every single level in our country, that there is no reward in holding anybody accountable. So now the question is, what will it take to get accountability and arrests? And we believe that what it will take is oversight, watching the watchman, or in Latin, quis custodiae ipsos custodes, who guards the guardsman? Where is the Department of Justice? Where is the federal government? And why aren't they doing their jobs? What is actually going on in the nation's capital? We decided to take a look. Now, there's what they say on the record, and there's what they say when no one is looking.
He's like a diva. Is that true? 110% he's a diva. Are you serious? 110%. He's lazy. No, he's not good at his job.
So you don't think there's going to be any like major arrests, like with Patel or
No.
FBI?
No. Also, I don't think anybody would ever go to prison.
Our investigation led us to an FBI security specialist who, on hidden camera, this FBI security specialist tells us the quiet part out loud. And as I do this report, the protesters are filtering into Los Angeles, one of them yelling at me to stop lying. I question any of them to actually tell me what I am lying about. We literally see their lips moving in our undercover reports.
I am a security specialist at the FBI. I've been working there for 5 years now. I was under Biden first.
Now, when you watch this man is either a Biden holdover speaking out of turn, or he is telling the truth, describing a system that walks out investigations for years past the point where the president is in power. What this official inside the FBI says is very troubling and potentially revealing about how the Department of Justice actually operates. People are more honest when they don't know they're being recorded. And that's not all. This same FBI official we caught on tape admits that even under Kash Patel, there will be no arrests of people in the deep state in the near future. Not exactly surprising considering the lack of action we've seen so far.
Do you think, like, your job, like the FBI, do you think they're going to arrest the people, like, that are dealing with the daycare stuff?
The thing with those cases is that I think by the time that case is done, even being, like, looked at and ready to go to court, Trump won't even be in office anymore.
Really?
Fraud cases like that, like money stuff,
Yeah.
years, literal years of time.
You don't think the FBI would arrest them, even though Trump would be like, please arrest them?
I don't think so, because over and over and over again, he's been shown it doesn't work. It's not working.
And all right, guys, I'm back. And shout out, I'm back with the co-host Monty. And shout out to my man Gaming. How's it going, guys?
Yo, what's the word, boy?
Man, it's all good. So, bro, apparently, as you've been watching this video, they do not like Kash Patel too much, and we are not about to get no deep state arrest.
I
said that a long time ago.
So me and Monty are on the same page. I'm gonna go ahead and take it a step further. Everybody that's been saying that ain't no arrest gonna come out of the Epstein files, and people are like, "What are you talking about? Jeffrey Epstein was arrested, and this person was arrested." Blah, 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 blah. No, we're saying
they're the scapegoat.
Right, we're saying it because we know there's not gonna be any justice. It's not a talking point, and this I hate to go off on this tangent, but said I'm addressing some other YouTubers out there and people that are out there on Instagram reels and saying stupid stuff like this. This goes directly to y'all, and I'm more than happy to challenge me on my channel on this. Like, you got an FBI official right here that just said it plain as day. When it come to money laundering and fraud and stuff, bro, ain't nobody finna get arrested. You see what happened with old boy in the crypto scandal. He went to jail for like what, 3-4 months? Like, come on, bro.
Not to mention, he said the quiet part out loud. By the time they can get any of this stuff to trial, Trump's not going to be president anymore. Right. And that's code for we're not going to do anything once Trump gets out.
Man.
And it's like, bro, come on, dude. Let's keep it a stat. Let's call a spade, bro. If you are rich in this country, you are untouchable. Enforceable by fine means legal for a price.
Well, I mean, if you're a billionaire, yeah, never mind.
The millionaires begin
rich with influence, because I don't know. I don't think it's just if you're just rich. It got to be rich with influence.
No,
it has to be with influence, or it don't mean nothing.
No,
a fine for anybody. Seth, a fine for anybody. A speeding ticket just means it's legal for a price.
Pretty much. A fine for not having insurance is legal for a price. You can roll around with no insurance, but you're gonna have to pay some money to do it.
Wait, hold on. Aren't they gonna suspend your license eventually, though? If you keep getting caught without insurance.
Maybe. But you're missing the point of what I'm saying, though.
No, I get what you're saying, but unless we're talking about a guy who's riding around with no insurance, who's a millionaire, who's like, I don't know, head guy at the BMV. Like I say, they gotta have that status, and like there gotta be some position of high power that they're holding.
Let me put it to you like this: you're not supposed to take people's land, especially when they're dying. That's actually a rule on the book. Katy Perry currently, right now, is taking an old veteran to court because she wants his house and his land, and she's dragging it out and has been doing it. Ain't nobody stepping in. Ain't nobody doing nothing. Where's his justice? You really think that the hard-working Americans in Minneapolis, Minnesota are finna get their justice after all these riots? Look at what happened with St. Louis. Them fat, ugly lesbians done caused the basically ransacking and rampaging of St. Louis and all these other cities, drained the wealth out of them, killed people in their wake, and stripped away all the jobs. Where's our justice? My point exactly.
That's a good point. But
There is
none. Yeah, you're right. I'll give you that one. There is no justice in that case right there. But
no, there's no
let's be real,
justice.
though.
There's no justice in the case if you have, even a couple million. There are tons of money laundering scams. And think about it like this: money laundering is so unjustly let go in the federal court system. The movie Wolf of Wall Street, which is a documentary about a guy's life. Yes, it's hilarious. And Leonardo DiCaprio, even though he's in the Epstein files, played it beautifully. But it was a documentary. And it basically showcased just how much BS you can legitimately get away from.
And he wasn't famous. He wasn't famous.
Right.
But he had power.
No,
He had
and you know
influence.
what's crazy? You know what's crazy about Wolf of Wall Street?
He had money.
Hold
He
up.
had influence,
Y'all,
though, at that
this is,
company.
no. Listen, y'all, this is going to shock both of you all's minds. The Wolf of Wall Street was funded by the same exact level of money laundering, just on a different continent. I'm not joking. That's why Leonardo DiCaprio was being investigated by the FBI after the movie.
I don't know. Like I said, I think it has to do something with your status and like your ranking in society. Because, like I said, you being rich is not enough to keep you away from the law. If you're not with the right group of rich people, you're fair game.
You had me fooled.
Can I say not every guy? Oh, come on now. Now, if you said almost every billionaire, I'd be like, all right, I can give you that one. But not.
That goes without saying. Every billionaire.
Yeah.
Name somebody who's rich, who has faced the same consequences as me and you would.
Wesley Snipes.
That's different, bro. That's different.
Come on. Now there's celebrities that get arrested like all the time for stuff that me and you would do.
Yeah, it's
but what consequences? What consequences did Wesley Snipes get?
He got some years in jail.
Huh?
He got some years in jail, didn't he? Some years.
Yeah, for what?
For tax evasion, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a normal punishment. Some years in jail is a normal punishment for tax evasion. It's a white collar crime.
And he didn't even go to he didn't even go to like a regular jail that you and I would go to if we did tax evasion. That boy went to the lap of luxury. It's been
he went to that nice jail for the celebrity.
Right. It's been well known that if you have a certain amount of money, you don't get put in. I mean, minus.
Well, now you will, but it's your status. Remember, Wesley Snipes is a movie star. He's highly notable. It's a little different.
Well, so is Baby Oil.
Regular population, bro. There's people that are millionaires that you'll never hear about.
So is Baby Oil Combs, but he was doing some heinous stuff. So yeah, they had to give him in the big house.
Yeah, but even then, they might show him some grace. But, hold on, guys.
Man, what are you doing, Seth?
I don't think anybody would ever go to prison. Like, they would most likely be thrown out very quickly.
Now, thanks to the brave work of citizen journalists like Nick Shirley, Americans were able to see what actually happens in Minnesota outside these daycare centers. Now, according to this FBI official, he's saying that accountability and justice is not coming. Why? He says the FBI and the Department of Justice walk these investigations out. They actually might take years, literal years, like 5 years. And by that time, the executive branch of government shifts power, the pendulum swings, and the people are never held to account.
They're going to try and pin it on somebody and make it seem like a crime, like a very serious crime.
Pin it on somebody?
Pin it on one of those people who runs those daycares.
Oh.
They need somebody to take the fall.
Oh, okay.
And we're just going to point at somebody.
Do you know who that would be?
No idea.
But that's what they do, though. They just pick someone and be like, this is our guy, and everyone else can go free?
That sometimes happens, yeah. Charging somebody for anything financial, for one person can take literally years. I've seen it. It can take years because you have to look at all the money, all the accounts, all the transactions, all the payments, everything. You have to look at everything.
Now, according to this FBI official, the plan isn't to dismantle the Minnesota daycare fraud, but to find a fall guy. He tells us the Bureau will pin it on somebody, not the entire network, not who's behind it, not the people moving the money, but one daycare operator. So this man in the FBI, Justin Devine, a teacher now turned FBI, has been in his role at the FBI since 2021. Remember, that's the year the
My bad, guys. My bad. Had to knock something out real quick. But gaming, you was pretty much talking about how rich people pretty much don't get charged the same as poor people.
Yeah, they don't get changed. Charges aren't the same as
They
poor
don't
people.
get charged. They have a longer presumption of innocence. When they are convicted, they're given priority for appeals. When their appeals are exhausted, they're also giving way laxer sentences, and usually those sentences deal in pretty much cush situations. Like if you and I were to go do any number of things, if you and I were Jeffrey Epstein, they would have executed us. If you and I were Hunter Biden, we would be in prison. If you and I were Joe Biden, we'd be in prison. If you or I were Donald, if you and I were Donald Trump, we'd be in prison. So
no, well, I don't know about the Donald. Well, no, you're right, Donald Trump, yes, but you're right. If it's just me and you, and like we're just not these special individuals, no relation to no rich people or no high power position, then yeah, you're right. Yeah,
I mean, and I'm not talking about the status comes with the money.
Not
like
really.
you're
remember,
absolutely
there's
it does.
that you do not know. Come on now. There's people that are millionaires that you don't even know, like millions.
Yeah, but they're not out there in the public's eye committing crimes.
So there you go. That means that the money doesn't come with status. Like it depends on how you got your money.
If they were if they were charged with a crime, they would absolutely be thrust into the public light. Absolutely, they would.
There's been millionaires charged all the time that we didn't even know until later on. Like, bro, millionaires going through fraud cases right now.
Don't you? The fact that you're stating that claim. Do you know everybody that's been charged? Do you know everybody that's been charged with a gun crime? Do you know everybody that's been charged for drug trafficking? Do you know everybody that's been charged for all these? But let someone have a couple $1 million and their shit will be front page news and they will get treated differently. Even if you didn't know about them,
bro.
Even if you didn't know about them, even if you
had
didn't know about
money,
them before.
parents had money and they was able to get their story like pushed under. Usually when you got money, you're able to have your story, swept under the rug, not front page news.
Put it to you this way: the Duke lacrosse players, they had a little bit of money, enough money to go to Duke. Their story was pushed front page news on the screen every single day for 2.5 years until that woman recanted her story and said, "Oopsies, my bad. It didn't actually happen."
Yeah, in the era of Me Too, I mean that's sure.
But that's the thing. That's the situation in which it didn't go badly because they were acquitted. But that is how it's done. And if you don't sit in the right groups, the opposite is true. They go after you more harshly than they would the public person. So there is a difference in class of citizen in the justice system. It's supposed to be impartial and blind. It is not. And if you sit here and you tell me that the justice system is blind and doesn't care, I'm gonna have to call you a fool, man.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that. I'm telling you that somebody can get charged the same way a rich person get charged. If they don't have status and they got money, they can still get charged the same way. Now, because they have money, they're able to, I would say, move themselves through the legal system a bit better than somebody without money, but the charges are still there. It's just that they're able to, well, I'll be real with you, somewhat pay the way to a better sentence, or because they have a good lawyer.
That's what we're talking. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. You're treated differently if you have money. They do one of two things. Either they say, you scratch my back and I'll scratch your back, or they go and try to make an example out of you to get press for it, to make themselves a name, and even then it's garbage.
Yeah, but I'm real with you. Every situation that I see that you're talking about, like that I can relate, that I can like give an example of, is usually because somebody had a high position. Now, for the regular guys who have with no high position and just rich, they get treated like an average citizen.
Nobody that's rich doesn't have a high position, Set.
Actually,
money.
no. Yeah, they do actually. A lot of people that they're not noticeable, no high status to it. You just make good money.
Who and
you can have
name
$1 million. Like, think about it. Do you know the CEOs of every company? Like, would you be able to tell them off the street? But they're making millions.
Right, but those people, if they're ever charged with a crime, it will be front page news because it's people that want to have this
But they will-
rubbernecking syndrome.
Nah, they'll
and
get
they will.
charged. No, but not. Hold on now. You're not saying that. Hold on now. If there's no status to it, bro, and I'm gonna be real with you. 9 times out of 10, this gets swept under the rug. There's like I said, there's plenty of CEOs that you don't even know that has been charged for crimes, and they got treated just like a regular citizen.
Can you
Because
give me
they
an
didn't come
example
with
of
a
one?
status next to it. There
Can you give me an example
was
of
no
one?
fancy government position.
Can you give me an example of one CEO that we don't know about that's been charged with a crime that it was just swept under the rug and there was no news reporting on it at all?
I'm pretty sure I can find you one actually.
If you find me one, if you find me one, that means it was in the news.
No, well, actually, no. If I can find you one, no. If I could find you one, that means there was a CEO that you didn't know that got arrested. Easy, because they're rich. But your argument is, well, money comes with status, but it doesn't. You can get that means what you're saying is wrong.
Let's take it.
Wait. We're talking about in the context of the legal set. We're talking about in the context of the legal system. Money absolutely has status.
Nah, it's kind of who
Set,
you are.
Set, and let me know.
It's
Let
who
me
you
let
are.
me let me let me cook you on this one.
Oh, don't cook him.
Wow. Okay, we're getting racist.
I'm just kidding. He's already cooked. I'm just fucking with you, Seth. Sorry.
He's a little too dark. He look well done.
But
Anyway,
he's shiny.
Look, guys, the reason I'm saying you're not making sense is because there's been plenty of rich people who's gotten treated just like your average American that's in jail. And there wasn't front page news.
No,
and it's kind of unfair, Monty, if you're telling me, oh, well, go find one, then doesn't that kind of mean that in a way you're proving my point in a way? Because if I find one, that proves that one, this guy you haven't heard about. And I'm pretty sure we can look through court documents of some high net worth individuals that didn't make front page news. And it's out there. It's definitely out there. You just can't say any person with money that goes to court is going to be front page news.
No, so what I'm saying, my overall point is there won't even be litigation in the first place.
Okay,
let
now
me
you're
put it to you.
That too.
No. Think about
because of money
buildings.
or with money and status. So like, pick one.
No. It's
money. Just money. You only need money. Think about insurance.
So no
companies.
litigation if you got money. You can make any crime you want as long as you got $1 million in your account. You're straight.
Epstein files.
You can settle it. You can settle. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Way over $1 million, and they're noticeable people.
Why are the names redacted then?
Bill Gates is one of them.
Bill Gates is a noticeable person. He was the richest man in the world at a time. See, you can't take away the status argument.
Comes with the money.
Status. You guys are naming
the status comes with the money. Set.
No, I said. All right, you're confusing our two arguments. My argument was that in general there is no justice served when it comes to people and their wealth. That's irrespective of status, irrespective of noticeable people. I'm talking about purely based off of net worth, and I can tell you this from a personal standpoint because I've rubbed elbows with rich people. So has my mom. Generally speaking, most people who have a certain net worth, I think of about 1.5 million and up, they have a lot more tools at their disposal to make sure that stuff will never see the light of day, or will see the light of day way down the line, and they usually have cover stories for it. I said the Epstein files as a prime example is because irrespective, meaning regardless if they do or not.
No, it gotta be. I mean, that doesn't make sense then, because the whole argument is status.
Tell me one person that has status that doesn't have money.
CEOs, business owners that own multiple. What was it like? What?
That's status and money. Set.
I'm sorry,
status and money. I'm saying, give me an example of somebody that has status, is known in the public light, and is constantly in the public light that doesn't have money.
They're making like at least $90K or below. That's average money.
Bro, y'all making my point for me then.
No.
The point I'm making is everybody with status has money, and everybody with money has status.
Everybody with status has money.
We're talking about significant status.
I mean,
in the
you
public
seen these
limelight.
Instagram models, bro? You see these Instagram guys? Like, not really.
What are you talking about?
No, not everybody with status has money. There's people who are famous that are broke.
Give me one example
that
of
are
somebody.
broke.
Give me the name of somebody. Give me the name of somebody that I know that is broke.
Wasn't there like that? What was it? It was an actor that was found homeless on the street. I'm pretty sure somebody in the chat could know, but wasn't there there was an actor that was homeless?
A Nickelodeon actor that's
everybody
not
knew.
relevant and doesn't have status anymore?
But hold on now. Yeah, he did have status. People did notice him, but he was broke. So not everybody with status is rich. I'm be real with you. Like, I mean, I'm be honest with you, a lot of people know that.
Hold up, Monty. I do want somebody. Yeah, I'm sorry, Seth, but even the comments are agreeing with what we're saying. For example, there's this one commenter, DJ Good 803. When he made a comment in response to you don't know who the CEOs' names are and they just have status and money. FMC Butler, North Carolina, Alan Stafford, USP, Terre Haute, Indiana, Raj.
Status. So wait, you're proving my point. Thank you.
No, they all have money as well. The net worth of these individuals.
And status. Like, bro, these are very
you're proving my point. No, you're proving my point. I said irrespective.
My point, my man. I mean, y'all both can prove my point. So please continue.
No,
it's not proving your point. You're just ignoring the fact that these people all have status and all have money and are treated differently in our society.
Bro,
that is the point we're making.
Hold on. No. That was not your argument. Now y'all changed it.
That's been the argument. That's the whole argument.
They got status.
There's two classes
and I
of people.
You guys wrong on that. Now you guys are saying that if they got money and status, they can go through the law system. No shit.
No, I said, listen. I said to you, irrespective of money or status or not, the justice system does not. Irrespective of status or not, meaning regardless if they have it or not. If you have a certain number in your bank account, justice favors you differently. That was the baseline of my whole argument. This is the third time I'm clarifying that point.
Yes. And I have the same point.
Justice looks at you differently.
Yes.
You're treated different in the justice system. You're given special access to
your ability to fight in the justice system is differently. You're not handled different. You can still get the same charge as a poor man. You could just fight those charges.
Okay, what about Nancy Pelosi? She committed
in the status, and you're proving my point. That's status. That's like a house speaker. Are you serious, dude?
I said irrespective.
That doesn't matter. She has status, bro. What are you talking about?
Find me a rich person that doesn't have status when it comes to crime.
Nah, you're not trying to concede. You're not trying.
You don't want to concede.
No, not that I'm not trying to concede. You guys stop making sense after a certain point.
No, I said irrespective.
Irrespective. Bro, you're trying to tie it back to status, and it doesn't matter.
We're just gonna move on because I'm trying to. Yeah, look, I'm trying to hear you guys out, but you're just not making sense. But all right,
we'll agree to disagree. We'll agree to disagree.
Y'all just not
find me someone that has money that doesn't have status and has committed a crime that we don't know about.
That's his point.
All right, I got you. I'm pretty sure I can find somebody.
Okay, Seth, me and you will agree to disagree.
All right, no problem. Agree to disagree. I got you on that.
The Epstein files fallout once again spreading across the Atlantic to the UK. Britain's former ambassador to the United States, Peter Mandelson, is resigning from the upper house of Parliament over his ties to the late sex offender.
Pause it.
Even more stunning.
Huh?
All right, I'm gonna tell you this, and oh my God. So in the Epstein files, the King of Bahrain was in there. His name is Khalid bin Salam. So check this out. When I was over there, I thought it was just like it was just like an urban legend or a myth. And like, cause some of the people will be like, our king is a pedophile anyway, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, I'm thinking they joking. Cause you feel what I'm saying? Like you can't be throwing that stuff around without no proof. I owe so many people an apology. I owe so many people an apology over there because his name was in there.
Let's not forget to add the caveat of just because your name's in the Epstein file doesn't mean you're guilty of pedophilia. For legal reasons, of course.
Oh, yeah, for legal reasons. But there's also the King of Saudi Arabia and obviously some people in Israel.
MBS.
There's also people of
Bro,
people
trust
high
me,
up
I've seen the list. There's a whole lot of sultans in there. I was like, oh shit.
You okay?
Well, their religion tells them it's okay. So
no, it doesn't.
And,
on,
and then check this out. There are some people in China and Japan and North and South Korea. It's like, yo, I thought y'all hated each other. Like,
bro, they all
what
go
are we
into the
doing?
island together. Bro, it reminds me of Squid Games. You know the season finale of Squid Games where all the rich people are there with their masks on? That's what I imagine when I think of
I'm gonna come
Epstein
out.
Island.
I'm gonna tell you some truth real quick. I've never, not once, watched a single episode of Squid Games.
Well, I mean, that's your own problem.
I'm sorry, chat. I failed you.
Good show, though. I ain't gonna lie. But all right.
Mom, Donnie.
Now we're done hopping on the Middle Eastern monarchies that are in the Epstein files.
Oh no, it's
one British royal
far more
is
than
calling
that.
out another. Prince Edward did not directly mention his older brother Andrew, who has been stripped of his royal title over his Epstein ties. But listen to Edward's comments to CNN at a summit today.
I'm not sure this is the audience that is probably the least bit interested in that. So they all came here to listen to my education solving the future. But no, I think it's all really important always to remember the victims and who are the victims in all this.
Oh, shoot.
Andrew is facing more scrutiny after the latest document drop revealed this photo of him on the floor with an unidentified woman or girl. And the photographs at this point do not suggest any wrongdoing. Andrew has repeatedly denied any wrongdoing, but obviously a lot of questions
come
raised
on,
here.
bro.
CNN royal correspondent Max Foster is with us now.
Come on. No, absolutely not.
What's up?
You roll it back 10 seconds and I'll tell you why what she said is wrong.
Or girl. And the photographs at this point do not suggest any wrongdoing.
Whoa.
Andrew has repeatedly denied any wrongdoing, but obviously a lot of questions raised here. CNN royal correspondent Max Foster.
Hey, yo, bro, let that have been Trump next to a girl like that.
That's
They
what
never
I'm saying,
said, oh, there ain't no wrongdoing seem to be done here.
Dude,
What? Woman,
dude,
you'd have
that's
been
why I
in
was-
tears looking at this.
Bro, that's why I said, whoa. First of all, the royal family, they're known for they knocked their own daughter off, okay? Let's get that out the way. They killed, was it Princess Anna because she was better than
Diana.
Queen Elizabeth? Diana. They killed Princess Diana because she was better at being a queen than Princess Elizabeth, and she was butthurt and jealous. They knocked her off. They straight up stripped this man of his title, of his status and authority, and then they're pressuring through other entities for this man to go to the U.S. and face to answer questions. My guy, you were as guilty as 2 left feet on a freaking inbred.
What? What?
Guilty is 2 left feet on an inbred. It's like, whoa. Now,
Like,
that was southern as hell.
I'm trying to.
That statement made about as much sense as a witch's titty and a brass bra.
I'm trying to prevent myself from cussing. Trying to get closer with the Lord. So
I appreciate
trying
that.
here. So, but yeah, bro, like, come on, dude. There was already speculation. Like, y'all remember back in 2021, 2022, when like the speculation on Andrews was making the rounds. Come on now. And then we get this photo, and his name appears at least 4 or 5 different times in the files.
I'm not tracking what your point is.
All right, let's get back. Wait.
Is with us now from London.
2 left feet on an
Max,
inbred.
give us the latest on the
stuck on
fallout
it.
where you are.
Well, we've got lots of reports about Sarah Ferguson, Prince Andrew's ex-wife, but they were living together for a very long time, and she had lots of relationships with Epstein as well, coming out through these files. So, for example, she's talking about not having £20,000 for rent. She was desperate to get hold of that. So a very deep relationship there, much bigger than we thought. Here in the UK, the focus is much more on the former UK ambassador to the US, Peter Mandelson.
Shit, lady. Whoa.
I urgently need
gave Sarah Ferguson money.
20,000
pounds?
20,000? Wow.
I mean, bro, I know that's wait. Now I'm almost sure. Isn't the British pound a little bit worth more than our dollar?
Yeah, it's roughly about that's $22,000 or $25,000 roughly.
For rent?
For rent? Bro. I like how both of us had to marinate on that.
Oh God, I'm almost imagining the crib at a certain point. Like, oh man, this shit.
Bro, that's
nice.
$240,000 a year. That's $250,000 a year in rent.
Bro, you could have bought a crib. Like literally.
My God. And she's just asking for it like it's $20. It's like she's $20.
It is to her.
Man, maybe to Epstein too. Like, bruh.
Here in the UK, the focus is much more on the former UK ambassador to the US, Peter Mandelson, because that has really roller coasted today. Initially, we heard a statement from the Speaker of the House, who read out a statement effectively from Peter Mandelson, who's a member of the House of Lords. Let's just have a listen to that.
My Lords, given the public interest and for the convenience of the House, I've decided to inform the House that the Clerk of the Parliament has today received notification from Lord Mandelson of his intention to retire from the House, effective from 4th February. I will formally notify this to the House tomorrow in the usual way.
So he leaves the House of Lords, he keeps his title of Lord, but in an extraordinary move, the Prime Minister has introduced legislation tonight calling for his title to be stripped from him too. Why? This is because there were correspondence in the Epstein files between Epstein and Mandelson, which suggests that Mandelson, as business secretary under Prime Minister Gordon Brown, was leaking internal government information, market-sensitive information, which Epstein could have used to make money, effectively. And the government launched an investigation, very quickly found correspondence which they were alarmed about. They've sent that to the police. Gordon Brown has sent correspondence to the police as well. And tonight, in the last half hour, we've heard the British police are now investigating Peter Mandelson, the first criminal investigation coming out of this latest drop of Epstein files.
That is quite the bombshell. Max Foster, thank you so much for the latest there. Former President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton have reached a deal to testify in the House investigation of Jeffrey Epstein. The agreement means
they killed some people and bought some
contempt of Congress vote. Sources telling CNN the Clintons will be deposed on February 26th and 27th, but they've added a new twist. They want to answer the Oversight Committee's questions in a public hearing. It's not clear if the Republican chair, Congressman James Comer, will accept that request. President Clinton has never been accused of any wrongdoing with Epstein, and his spokesman has said Clinton denies knowing of Epstein's crimes and cut off their relationship before they came to light. Last night, the Deputy Attorney General once again signaled there will likely be no further criminal charges.
Hold on. You knew the crimes, but you didn't, as president, try to prosecute?
No,
as president though, like you could have just sent the DOJ after him, but
no, because he was mentioned, and I'm willing to bet that the reason why the Clintons are so thoroughly comfortable with doing this is to play in our face. They have the DNC by the balls. They have a DNC funded think tank by the balls. They have well over half the Democrats.
No, but here's the thing though. How guilty does it make you look that you're just saying, oh, I knew, but I just cut him off? I'm like, bro.
No, that's what I'm saying.
You knew, but you didn't. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Is like they're comfortable with doing this on a public setting because they know nothing's gonna happen. It's a classic chess move. If you know nothing is gonna happen, why try to hide it? As a matter of fact, walk up with swagger. You walking up and doing this in a public setting before the nation, saying like, I'm not guilty, blah 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 blah. It means either one or two things: you finally grew a conscience, which I find is highly unlikely, or number two, which is the more likely option, you have other strings and moves you can make.
Yep.
Stemming.
I mean, think about this. Think about this.
All right, go ahead.
Hold on.
Yeah.
think about this. Bill Clinton was actually rightfully impeached by a bipartisan Congress and still allowed to stay in power. None of this partisan politics where the president just gets impeached because you don't like his name. He was impeached for lying to Congress. Would face no charges about it. Was not convicted of it, even though there's documentation of it. Did not get removed from power. So if he's not going to get removed from power, what makes you think anything's going to happen to him about this?
Wait. Can we address Miss
celebrated
Lily?
amongst the Democrats?
Wait.
Yes.
Can we address Miss Lily 4533? Let's go ahead and address this. Bring that comment up.
Right in the wall of shame.
Bring that comment up. No, not that one. We already know that's dumb. Both impeachments were fraudulent, and even YouTubers were saying it. That one. Keep that same energy when Trump. Same energy with Trump. He can't keep his lies straight. Young lady, do you realize the reason why Trump has been oddly quiet about this is because he's an informant? He has informant records going back, what is it, the late 70s, early 80s?
Ignore that piece, gaming. That breaks her whole narrative. Chief narrative buster here.
Because a lot of everybody keeps saying, "Oh, that's a Fox News talking point," or "That's just a conspiracy theorist talking point." First of all, when the conspiracy theorists told you that they were having Bohemian Grove style human child sacrifices and they were eating people and they were using adrenochrome from baby's blood, now all of a sudden you guys want to believe it because the Epstein files said so? Broski, how about you take that foot out of your mouth and actually start thinking for yourself? Maybe the conspiracy theorists, quote unquote, aren't conspiracy theorists. They're people that actually do deep dive research and read between the lines.
All right, guys. I do want to get into this video right here.
Hey, Seth, you remember Pizzagate?
Bro, they made... Bro. People were saying, like, no, you're crazy. Okay.
Bro. Think the about Epstein file. I think in the Epstein files, pizza is mentioned like 8,000 times.
Yep.
And then check this out. I'm gonna tell you something right now. Hey, I'm gonna tell you something right now. And people kept calling me homophobic and crazy and all this other stuff. Do you want to know about the colors on the LGBT and all these other flags?
Oh no! Don't even get into that. That'll get the stream taken down.
All right,
bro. Look into what those colors mean.
But all right, guys, let's get into this crazy theory here. Probably gonna have to end off on this one since we're at that time. But shout out to this.
Bro, you didn't even do anything. 6 hours.
It's been 3 hours.
Dude, you get on here and then you get off like you got arthritis and high blood pressure medicine.
I mean, I got other things to do. Look, catch me on the weekend. We could do the 6-7 hour. We can do the 7-8 hour streams. Then
you've been doing a 7-hour stream in the last month,
right? You stingy with your time.
I've done a 6-hour stream, but like what? Maybe like last week, maybe this weekend.
That was the last month set.
That's cheating. That's cheating. Come on now.
No, that was last month at the end
December.
Of the month.
All right, technically,
December.
Yeah, you're right.
No, it was in January. He did one in January at the end of the month.
Oh yeah, between December and January. Yeah, it was a little lacking. I think the Maduro one was the longest one you did.
Man.
Right.
All right. Then I'm gonna owe you guys. I'm gonna have to bring you guys up there for that event. Then I ain't about to do that whole 8 hours. But all right,
we can tag team.
All right, fine. What is it? Let's do this Friday. Yeah, this Friday, guys. We're gonna go ahead and do at least an 8-hour stream. We're gonna try to shoot for 10 hours because why not? But
let's triple stream it.
Let's try that. But all right, guys, check this out because you know the whole little Epstein might be alive thing.
Oh yeah, Megyn Kelly is completely convinced that Epstein's going to put a press conference out soon.
Oh my god!
You know how cool that would be? He's like, this comes out and be like, "These are my cooperators." I'm like, cooperators. I'd have been like, "Oh, thank you, bro. Thank you." That's all.
Bro, that wouldn't be cool. What are you talking about? I know you didn't mean it like that.
I'd be happy. But what if he changed his ways and he just came all of a sudden to the people and was like, "Yep, I'm snitching on."
I'm sorry, I don't believe that.
No. Child, what he's done to people, there's no such thing as changing your ways. You can only destroy the body and burn it.
Bro, let me tell you this. Unless Jesus
did y'all see
Christ
the 2-hour interview of him?
Hold up. Unless Jesus Christ himself came to everybody in a dream on the same night and said, yeah, he's forgiven, don't harm him. That is the only way he isn't going face first into a wood chipper with dull blades.
Facts. I get that one. But no, y'all ain't see the 2-hour interview?
No.
Bro, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Hearing that man talk and how he talks about things is a bit eerie, I'll tell you that. But all right,
it's almost like he's a child molester.
Yeah, I know. It's like wild. You could almost tell it. Like, and it's like, well, he's actually a smart guy and he's a child molester.
See, here's the sad part. I used to go around telling people like, ugh, I don't like the way that guy looks. He looks like he eats kids. Now I realize that some of the people I was saying that about, I was actually right on. I was actually right on.
I'm dying. All right, guys, let's get into the video though.
Fact. Can't tell you how I know, but I can tell you for a fact, we're going to hear a lot more about Jeffrey Epstein in the coming year. And you may be even hearing from him directly. More on that as I'm allowed to tell you.
What's up, Spenny? Of the many earth-shattering revelations inside of the Jeffrey Epstein files, none are as consequential as this. Is Jeffrey Epstein alive? We just proved that Jeffrey Epstein was a body double. Here. A document inside of the Epstein document dump, which there are millions and millions of photos, videos, and emails, private text messages, correspondence that were released by the DOJ on Friday. One document proves that perhaps it was an inside job and that a whistleblower that told us everything was right after all. One of the jail cell guards named Roberto leaked on 4chan the morning of Epstein's death. So when everybody was like, wow, he committed suicide, this prison guard, Roberto Gravalas is his name, wrote this. I'm not saying that not saying anything after this, so please don't try and dox me. But last night, after the 4:15 body count, so they go around and they check all the inmates, right? Check to see that they're in their cells and that everyone's alive and well. Remember, Epstein was on suicide watch. They took him, Epstein, in a medical wheelchair, front cuffed, meaning he was chained to the wheelchair, couldn't get up. But not one triage nurse says they spoke to him. So if you were taking somebody in a wheelchair, you'd be taking them to the triage or to the small medical clinic inside of the prison, right?
Yep.
That's not where he went. Where did he go? Next thing we know, a trip van shows up. We do not do releases on the weekends unless a judge orders it. So nobody was being released from the prison.
Okay.
But a prisoner transfer vehicle shows up, and the next thing you know, he's put into a single man cell and hangs himself. Here's the thing. The trip van did not sign in, and we did not record the plate number. And the guy in the green military dress outfit was in the back of the van. So a guy in a military outfit escorted Jeffrey Epstein out of the prison in a wheelchair.
Okay.
This is according to the tower guy who let him through the gate. You guys, I'm shaking right now, but I think they switched him out.
Huh.
Now, why are people saying that?
Now, gaming, you got some, a little history and security, of course. Like, does any of that sound weird?
So, and I'm willing to bet that Monty can comment just a little bit, but it's when you're doing high priority transport, there's different types. There's air transport, ground transport, vessel transport. But in all of them, in all those transports, you're receiving personnel or the people who are receiving someone usually will coordinate with the people that are having said person. So like, let's say I'm coming to get XYZ prisoner from you. You will know days in advance to have this person's medical work checked up, make sure he's all right, make sure everything is good. And then typically you will then arrange for his release or transference. So there's a log that has to be kept somewhere. Then there's something called, we're just going to call it off the books transport. It's usually one of those spur of the moment things. that happens where you don't have a lot of time or notice, and the person that is being gotten is of significant security risk or significant importance, and they can't be pulled out by the regular, means.
Okay. All right then.
So this does sound pretty credible because there's a
It
lot
sounds
of shady.
on par. It sounds on par with the policies and procedures you would follow to do the latter of what gaming just said.
Yeah, especially when it comes to not SecDef, but Special Operations Command.
All right.
SOCOM.
Yeah, SOCOM.
That suddenly this anonymous 4chan account is real. Again, this is pretty huge allegation there, but pretty detailed, right? And it should be easy to blow a hole in that if it's not true. Okay, clearly that could just be the psychotic ramblings of any Deegan on the internet, right? Any anon. The individual that posted on the 4chan account the morning of Epstein's death, claiming that they had a body double put in for Jeffrey Epstein, is Roberto Gralava. He is an officer inside of the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York. He was identified as the anonymous lieutenant who posted this on 4chan, claiming Epstein left his cell on Friday shackled to a wheelchair. Same time, an unauthorized trip van picked him up, and he was never seen again. This was the night before the news broke of his death.
Oh,
what? So he's writing this before everybody even knew that Epstein had suicided himself. The day after Epstein's death, U.S. Attorney Jeffrey Berman of the Southern District of New York opened a grand jury proceeding and subpoenaed 4chan, Apple, AT&T, and Citibank for records aiming to uncover Roberto's identity following the anonymous 4chan post. That's a pretty aggressive procedure.
That's a lot of work to find somebody that's just rambling.
4chan.
Yep.
Roberto's name is not redacted in his bank records, including the Southern District of New York subpoena responses from Citibank for his 4chan post, and ties to the same prison officers.
Hold on, I do want to hear from Monty. Monty, what was you about to say?
I was going to say that's a whole lot of subpoenas and legal paperwork to go through for somebody that is just rambling on the internet.
Yeah.
So basically, that was an don't ask, don't tell type of situation, and he leaked
And he
it.
told,
which means that when they issued those subpoenas, Epstein isn't dead.
Because they wouldn't have went through that work. Let's just say it is the ramblings of somebody on the internet, and they just happen to guess what it is. They want to know why someone knows that information or they think knows that information to investigate them. So whether it was the guard or wasn't the guard, the fact that they went through that much to figure out who the person was that posted it shows that there's some credibility to it, and that they want to know who it is to see who leaked,
so they can silence him.
I was
They heard from that man again.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, huh. So I mean, why is this so important? If it's just such a nonsense story on 4chan, I mean, then why even investigate it this hard? To the point where you have to put it in the files.
Hey, Set, let me ask you this. If someone claiming to be me texts you your address, are you going to try to figure out if it was me or how the fuck I got that information?
Yeah. Yes, I am.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Something that I shouldn't.
Important person of the week right there.
Something that I shouldn't know, I know. And even if it's me sending it to you or it's someone claiming to be me sending it to you, you're going to get to the bottom of it only if the address is correct, right? If I say your address is 123 fucking Ohio Boulevard, and you're like, no, the fuck it's not. I know it's not. You're not going to look into it at all. You're going to be like, huh, fucking loser. But if I say, hey, your address is fucking 1213 Creviston Parkway, and you're like, holy shit, that's my address.
Did you dox yourself, Monty?
No.
Okay.
It sounded so smooth the way he hit it. He came out with that one.
Right. That's why I was like, did you dox yourself?
But you know what I mean?
I get it.
You're going to
No,
take it
I
a little
get
bit
it.
seriously if it's credible.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're
You're going to call the police.
direct
You're going to make a report.
information out of nowhere, it's just like,
Yeah.
whoa, how do you even know that?
But only
Why
the
do you
government
know
knows that it's correct. Only you know that I'm giving you the right address or I'm giving you the wrong address. So you're going to act accordingly.
Yep. So they're pretty much like the government snitched on themselves just by acting on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right. So we're dealing with the possibility that Epstein might be out here.
Berto's
Or he's in a black site. They might have moved
him
him to a black site.
Now, too.
In Epstein's death. This is huge. We now have validation that the 4chan post is a legitimate eyewitness account from inside of the prison from an officer that watched what happened to Epstein, that he may have been switched out before the news broke.
Look at his ears. Look at the autopsy report of his ears.
Conspiracy theories ending up true. I was really sure he killed himself because nothing ever happens, but this is really something. Wow. Post gone viral.
Maybe that's why there's a minute really missing from the footage.
Yeah, bro. 10 million views. I mean, I should.
There's time missing from the video, and I don't buy Pam Bondi's. Maybe they're not hiding up the fact of who killed him. Maybe they're hiding the fact of who moved him.
Yeah,
and it's just a giant
blind spots
misdirection
in that footage, especially the one that they showed us that was supposed to be his door, but that was wrong. His door was actually on the other side of the building that we could not see in that footage.
Come on, Set.
Bruh, I mean,
why y'all questioning stuff? Why y'all questioning stuff?
I just want to say that I'm not suicidal. I love my life. I love my family. None of us would do anything to hurt ourselves.
But Epstein might be
I would
alive,
never go
guys.
crazy. I would never go crazy and kill a bunch of people to die by suicide.
Yeah.
This man, he might literally be alive. I mean, the fact that they even looked into this is crazy.
I'm giving about a 30% likelihood that he's alive. Just because we don't have any concrete proof other than one witness statement, but that witness statement seems very, very heavy, and the response to that anonymous post seems very, very lopsided.
So
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll leave you with this. And so when you're in the service, you're taught to always think outside the box also, especially when you're training for special warfare or attached to them.
Dang. All right. So based on all report regarding Epstein's death and tonight, his body was not publicly shown, even at his funeral.
So check this out. Why? I've been asking people this for a while, and my mom asked it too. Nobody ever gave us an answer. Why did they choose now to release the Epstein files? And also, why did they allow certain people to be unmasked?
So in order for there to be something, there has to be motive, means, opportunity. We know they have the means because of the holes in the security. And, it's the federal government. The federal government has means to do anything. We just fucking yanked a fucking dictator. Opportunity. There's plenty of holes in the security footage that provide opportunity. Now we need to know the motive. If you can give me the motive, that 30% will go from 30% to 60%.
I'm saying, why would they choose to release these files now? What's so important that they're doing behind the scenes now that they have to release this stuff to shake up the board? And that's
so that
what
we're all talking. Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, bro. It's like, here's the thing, though. It's really hard to call this that shiny object of distraction when we feel like this was the object that everybody was trying to keep us away from. That's the problem.
There's always more at play.
I mean, yeah, I hear you on that one. It's just I'm scared to know what that is. I mean, if this is the distraction, what's the main event?
Could it be CBDC? Could it be digital ID? Why all of a sudden, when people are starting to put two and two together with the block cameras and everything,
been pushed out yet.
It's already being rolled out. That's
block.
You have
well, not for us.
Yes, it has.
Yes, it is.
Oh, yes, it is.
Really?
You don't know it because you've been distracted with everything else.
I mean, wouldn't I know if I
Block.
had to, I don't know, sign in to use my bank accounts to like what at every
They're
store I
not
go
gonna give
to?
it to you full mixture first set. Don't be silly.
All right, well, how do we have it?
Flock. Look up Flock.
Look at the law surrounding Flock. They
Look
already
at the legal framework that's being put in place in Los Angeles right now after the rebuild of the
Oh,
Palisades.
flock safety. Well, hold on now. This is like more surveillance.
So it starts with surveillance. You have to have a count of everybody so that you can monitor them more effectively.
Oh, I was talking about digital ID, guys.
No,
But
digital
There's
ID,
already digital ID. You can put your passport on your fucking phone.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I think what was it? The more definite definition of where you damn near have to verify your identity for almost every payment, damn near with like what they got going on in China. But I guess you're right.
That's coming.
You're right. This is digital.
We're only a couple steps
This is
behind
watered
that,
down.
Seth.
I don't know. I think we're gonna. I think we're gonna push back a little harder.
It will be sold to you as a convenience in order to control you.
I want you to know something.
Monty, can you guys give me guys, give me an example of how this could be sold? Like,
I'm finna do. No, I'm finna do it. I'm finna
digital
do it.
ID.
No.
I don't think no. And I want y'all to do it for the audience because not just me. Because when y'all say digital ID, like we're not really, it's not really hitting as hard. Because like, okay, well, my card's on my phone, so my ID's on my phone.
No. Let me put it to you like this. So I was trying to check some personal information on the IRS website. If you go on certain websites, especially government websites, they now require because you can use ID Me before in login.gov. They now require you to take a photo of yourself.
Oh yes, of your ID and of yourself. I literally just did it to get into Genesis. To get into MHS Genesis, I have to take a photo of my passport ID, state issued ID, and then take a picture of myself. I can no longer remotely proof myself.
Yes,
that is what remote proofing is now.
So, and then on top of that, now they're slowly starting to make the passport and state ID weaker. Because if you look up on the TSA's website, if you don't have the real ID, it's $45 to fly on an airplane now. Soon it'll be $50. Now, if you want to, let's take it a step further.
But the real ID though, it's really just like a different ID. You can get a physical form.
Hold up. With in other countries, they're already the SAVE Act, not the SAVE Act, the on the Online Safety Act in Australia, in Europe, in the UK.
They say you have to prove that you're not. You have to prove that you're not underage. By definition, everybody that's not underage is going to be putting their ID on the internet.
No,
that's a digital ID.
No. Not, it goes way deeper than that. So what they're doing is they're making it to where you have to download this app with all of your information on there. And if you don't have the app, they're on record saying you cannot participate in society unless you get this.
Okay, then, yeah, I think that's what a lot of people think by digital ID. The whole mark of the beast type of word. They're like, if you don't got the mark or you don't follow the law, then you can't participate in society. We don't got that now.
No. Here's the thing: what they're distracting you with,
thank God we don't,
is the release of these Epstein files. Because they need the old guard to get out the way. Mamdani represents the new guard.
I don't know. I think you might be reaching on that one.
No, you said that last time. I'm 2 for 2. Set. Watch what you say.
How you 2 for 2? You're giving yourself points. I gotta establish the points here.
Venezuela and what they said about, and there was like another crisis. There was another crisis that happened, and me and Monty called it, and you told us the same thing. Like, y'all, you're reaching. I don't know if I can believe that.
Wait, hold on. What did I say that?
Oh, Monty, what was it?
Iran.
Yeah.
Wait, what was y'all? Wait. Iran. Was I wrong?
That we are going to bomb Iran in the coming months. It was quicker than I thought it would be, but it was very much.
I agreed with you guys on that, though.
And then I also said behind that, the people of Iran don't like Iran. And you tried to say that I was wrong and that the people support the government. I was like, no, the vast majority of
I didn't say
don't.
that. Now you're mischaracterizing my argument there. I didn't say that. I said there isn't enough resistance in there to overthrow the government.
Oh, yeah.
But maybe there might be more support than you realize.
No, they're killing all their support. There
I
are a
didn't
bunch
say that.
of
Oh, 90. I didn't say that. Oh, no. 90% of them agree with the government or majority. That wasn't my argument. I said there may be more support than we realize, and that's because this revolution isn't going the way we want or expected.
no. They shut
They
the
just
internet.
executed people.
The internet is still shut off, and they have bodies splayed out all across the ground, and they're not releasing the women and the children's bodies. And that is because, and I've heard this from multiple Iranian people and I've even talked to a couple of these people who have family members over there directly, because a couple of them were able to get over to Afghanistan and Pakistan and use Starlink or whatnot. And they said, yeah, they're keeping the women and children's bodies because if the United States, hold up, stop it.
Now, if the United States will attack them.
If the United States attacks them, then they can throw those bodies out or have them split all over the ground and make it seem like we just killed a bunch of innocent civilians. There have been multiple reports. Hold up. There have been multiple reports that the IRGC is setting up shop in school that have students in them and out of school students that are not in school. There have been multiple protests of doctors saying that IRGC is coming in there. Yes, there has. Yes,
not
there
them
has.
preparing schools to be bomb shelters, bro.
Not bomb shelters.
Not bomb shelters.
Well, not bomb shelters, but battle. But my bad. But to keep artillery and to be used as a.
That's not what they're talking. That's not what he just said. There are school students that are missing. That are as soon as we bomb them, they're going to be in the streets dead conveniently.
I'm sorry, but then hold on. That's just so convenient. I'm sorry, bro. That's just so convenient.
You gonna say that, bro?
Actually link the
You
sources
gonna say
for
that?
that.
No.
Why it's so convenient? So when we bomb them, we kill a whole bunch of innocent students, and they're actually bodies. You're gonna sit there and say, "Oh no, sir, remember when I said they were gonna drag them out? I told you." When they could actually be dead students.
No,
like
they're already.
You hear what you're setting yourself up
a lot
for.
of these.
It's like
no,
if you're
a lot of
falling for the propaganda, and they're already giving you the propaganda so that you justify kids being killed.
No, ain't nobody.
Are you serious? Are you serious? That from the same group of people that have the same group of people that have put artillery in hospitals have redirected people to move in other directions when Israel bombs people. These are the same
this is
people.
Iran. We're talking about two different
Hamas
people.
is funded by Iran.
Hamas is a proxy of Iran.
That doesn't matter, actually. These are
that
two different
actually
government
does.
forces.
Okay.
The one being funded. We're talking about their own little government, their own little.
That's awfully convenient.
Disingenuous.
We're talking because we're talking about one that's a paramilitary group. We're talking about one that's a full-fledged military force.
One that I personally intercepted goods and materials from Iran from. Are you serious? I've personally
brother, do you hear what I just said? Are you serious?
Bro, okay, come on, man. You're
not hearing what I'm telling you.
Brother. Come on. Don't do this.
Look, you're literally falling for the propaganda. You're literally getting ready for when they start bombing schools. You're gonna tell them, "Oh, don't worry, guys. Those are just bags they kept from the last protest."
When you get done, I want you to add some.
But here's the thing, though.
I want you to answer me 3 questions.
What about when Israel sent these pamphlets out? Get them to go to that location and bomb it. I don't ever hear you guys talk about that.
That is literally the opposite of what happened, and we pointed that out.
No, that's not. That's actually what happened. So now we just disagree on how's it going. So y'all, so y'all the pro-Israel.
Don't say y'all because I had nothing to say about it.
You said because they don't.
You guys
said because Hamas didn't have an air force.
So when they start blowing stuff up, you guys will be okay with seeing dead children on the ground.
No, that is not what that is. That's kind of
that's literally what you just said, bro.
Okay, so let me ask you something. Set. Let me ask you something real quick.
So the opposite can't be true, Set? The opposite can't be true because you like Iranians
can ask
so
you the same thing. Can the opposite can't be true?
Wait,
okay,
let me ask you a question.
We're going to agree to disagree, I guess, because I guess both our opposites can be true. But go ahead.
No, let me ask you a question. So, are we Israel, yes or no? Let's just start there.
In what way, though? Because no.
No. Come on, man. It's a yes or no question. Are we Israel? It's a very simple answer.
Okay. So,
but if you're talking about military-wise, no, it's not a simple answer.
No, the answer is no. I served in it. I can tell you for sure, no. Secondly, how many outside of the targets that were meant to be hit, how many surrounding casualties were there from the B-2 Spirit bombers bombing run?
Wait, hold on. How we go from? I'm sorry. What are you?
I'm leading you somewhere. I'm leading you
Follow the
somewhere.
questions.
No, dog. I'm sorry. Like, stay on point here. You just
That
went
is a
from
part of the
what?
point. No,
That is the point.
Wait, what?
That is the
You're
point.
trying to imply that America would go bomb schools, and it's kind of pissing me off.
No. Bro, I didn't say that. Monty, calm down, because you don't even know what you're getting mad about.
No,
I didn't say that. I said
you said how
were to bomb
convenient would that
schools,
be? How
then
convenient would that be? And that we're buying into the
I know.
propaganda.
No. I said how convenient that'd be if we were to start bombing and we bombed the school, and then according to what gaming is saying, that okay, well, we'll just accept the excuse that, oh no, they'll just bring out dead bodies. We'll just assume that those are old bodies from the protest and not actually dead children.
No, here's the problem with what you're saying, Seth. The problem is we used a Hellfire missile to kill somebody in his hotel room while there were other guests. And we did not kill anybody outside of the intended people that we wanted to kill. We used another Hellfire missile to strike through the roof of a moving vehicle and kill another general. The problem with what you're saying about that whole school argument is, and I can personally attest to this because I've seen it happen time and time again.
Why'd you make that argument then if that's not even a possibility? No.
Because it's not a possibility, but that's what they're going to say.
If it's not a possibility, you're bragging about the accuracy, but you just went off on just saying, well, just in case there's any school bombs, they're ready to bring out the fake bodies. Why even bring that up?
Let me finish. Let me land a plane.
Accuracy.
Let me land a plane. The reason why I say that is because we have pinpoint accuracy. All of our nuclear missiles can hit within 12 meters of their actual nose cone. That means within a 12-meter radius, that's how accurate our destructive capabilities
are.
So when they start saying stuff about bodies, but then people are going to be emotional. They're going to be like, see, America is just killing kids and all this other stuff. But they don't notice America's track history of doing scalpel level surgery strikes.
Okay,
consistently.
What?
Consistently. Think about Maduro. Think about Maduro. No, think about Maduro. We
can't talk about accuracy. Then talk about how, when we blow up the school, don't worry, they'll just bring out the fake bodies.
No,
what?
That's what they're going to try to do anyway.
That's what they're going to try to do, to discredit and propaganda.
So they're going to blow up their own schools, or are we going to accidentally, like, which one?
No, the kids are already dead. The kids are already dead.
And then check this out, Seth.
So now they're going to bring out, okay, guys.
Seth, I need you to listen. I need you to really
when they
listen.
start bombing
There are
schools,
too many.
so if America was to accidentally bomb a school, but according to Guest Dude, we're just so accurate it would never happen. But just in case we do, they're ready to roll out dead bodies. Got you.
What? No,
Seth, I need you to listen.
You have that completely backwards.
Seth, I need you to listen to me on this one. Do you realize that the same argument you're making, that what I'm saying has already happened in the Middle East 3 other times? Afghanistan, that was common. They always hid behind the kids and literally use kids as suicide bombers. Ask any EOD tech.
Yeah.
Bro, but even in Afghanistan, there's guys that were scarred there from striking civilians that they knew were just civilians. So, yeah.
I'm not saying that doesn't happen.
And those people went to.
But then you can't pretend like everything we do is unjust. It's just like we don't fuck up.
I'm not saying
there's times
everything we're doing is just. I'm saying,
all right, guys. All right.
You're willfully not listening.
You're purposely not listening.
Not listening, bro. Actually, I don't even think you know what you're arguing anymore.
No, I know what I'm arguing.
We're arguing that when this happens,
because you just talked about, they're ready to bring out bodies just in case school gets bombed, and I'm like, okay.
Not in case a school gets bombed, Seth. Not in case a school gets bombed. When they claim that we
bombed, they're just ready to throw some bodies out.
Can you let me talk? Can you let me talk?
Well, we're on a limited time right now. So
No. Because you and gaming have went back and forth, interrupting each other.
I'm sorry, but I'm on a strict time limit. I already went over doing this conversation.
But at least hear Monty.
At least hear me out. Fuck, man.
All right, fine.
When we go and bomb a government building, we're not saying we're gonna oopsies accidentally bomb a school and kill a bunch of kids. We're not going to accidentally bomb a school. We don't bomb schools. When we go and retaliate against the Ayatollah and send a fucking 30,000-pound fucking mop into his fucking bunker. They're going to go to a school and throw a whole bunch of bodies out, posted all over fucking X, of people that they've already fucking executed, and then say, see what America did 1,000 miles away from the Ayatollah. And we're not saying we're gonna accidentally hit a school and they're just gonna put a bunch of bodies in there and fucking make us play defense. We're saying they're going to just completely lie about the entire fucking thing and say that we bombed a school. And they conveniently already have these people that they have already mowed down in the streets that they're hiding from the public, i.e. the internet blackout.
Yep.
That's what he's saying.
So,
We're not talking
like I
about we're going
said,
to accidentally do
basically,
it.
Anywhere we bomb and we may accidentally kill civilians, you guys will just say, nope, those are all bodies.
Not if we
I mean, you
no.
already got the story set up. I mean, hey, if that's what y'all want to do, do it.
They already have the story set up to defend themselves when we go and bomb them.
So do we. So do we. We'll just say that they're just random dead bodies from the old protests. We already got our
Hey,
defense.
I want you to read Ash Rose's comment. She said, yeah, one of my friends in high school was on the front lines, and children were the ones that made them the most terrified because they never knew if they were going to be nice or blow up.
Like, you done moved the goalpost so many times, it's hilarious.
I'm not moving the goalpost. I'm saying the same thing.
We're trying to give you different examples of them doing horrendous shit, and you're just blowing it off.
I'm not blowing it off. Monty, calm down, brother.
I even told you that I was over there. I was even told you that I was over there.
I'm just telling you what you guys are doing, and y'all not willing to hear it out.
Because that's not what we do.
Just like they are. You just did.
You're calling into so when you call into question what the fuck we do, that's a little fucking disingenuous considering you have two people that have
not allowed to doubt what my own country does. I have that blind
absolutely, but to accuse them of bombing children without any proof?
Them. I said if. Damn, bro, Monty, now you're saying accuse? Like, bro, chill out.
But you're insinuating that it would be likely that we did that.
Monty, chill out, because you're already on the wrong side of the argument. You're already saying I'm accused, but I never use such strong language. So at this point, you're already coming at the argument in bad faith. So we're just
when you say that we're gonna act
for fucking the Middle East nuts.
I don't know why that goes so hard for the Middle East. I don't know.
But all right. Because I love all people, that's why. But anyway, though, we're gonna go ahead and call it a night on that one, guys. We'll probably pick up this conversation tomorrow. But I appreciate you guys, man. Shout out my man Monty and Gaming. I know we go back and forth, but you know I love you guys.
Bro, that's just us being in the cult set. Bro, we're just echo chambering each other.
Don't you know?
Apparently, bro. Apparently, we're in the cult.
That's what an echo chamber looks like, my guy.
Epstein did nothing wrong.
God,
let's
picture
get
of
real
Prince
culty.
Andrews was all good. Like,
bro,
look, sitting down next to little girls, guys. Come on, man. That's not too big of a deal.
Actually, that was a picture of Trump, guys. What do you mean?
It's all AI.
It's all AI. Deepfake.
But all right, though. So he says, Conduct Hospital attacked is okay. So the Conduct Hospital attacked is an example of U.S. hitting U.S. government hitting civilians. Zero proof of bodies are being held for a propaganda win. Literally makes no sense. Well, we'll move past that for another time. We'll move past that.
Bro, you were able to find one comment that agreed with you, and that's the one you're gonna highlight.
It was a super chat.
There's Monty, bro. Like, chill.
Dang, bro.
Bro, I'm sorry. I'm out for blood. I'm sorry. I need to calm down.
Bro, I have slitting throats, bro. Okay.
It's like, bro, calm down. They paid to have that up there.
No, I get it though. No, look, bro, Monty, I get it, bro. You're a real passionate debater, and trust me, I respect it every time. So
he is the master debater.
But all right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and end it out on this one, man. This is Set with Set Media, and I will close you guys out on this right here.
The man of knowledge must be able not only to love his enemies, but also to hate his friends. It sounds almost blasphemous in a world where we're taught that friendship is sacred and hatred is poison. And yet there's a profound truth hiding in these words that most of us are too uncomfortable to acknowledge. To love your enemies requires seeing beyond the surface, recognizing the humanity in those who oppose you, finding understanding where instinct demands rejection. But to hate your friends, that's the more difficult task. It means being willing to stand in opposition to those you care care for when they are wrong. It means refusing to let affection blind you to falsehood. The person who seeks knowledge cannot afford the luxury of unconditional agreement. They must be willing to challenge even those ideas that come from beloved sources. They must recognize when loyalty becomes complicity, when friendship becomes an echo chamber. The pursuit of knowledge demands that we see the world and the people in it as they truly are. And sometimes that means loving what hurts us and questioning what comforts us. It's not easy, but then